All right, everybody, welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're here on our Sunday morning tradition, continuing on here in our 15th year in February. Be ready for that as we get set. It is super wild card weekend as we get set for the NFL today. There have been some changes to the schedule as far as that is concerned, on who's playing, when they're playing, why they're playing, all that good stuff. That happens, with a little bit of a change of last, kind of last minute. A lot of weather going on over in Buffalo. That switched it on out. So let's take a look at that really quick before we bring in our guy right here. This is what happened. We had Cleveland and Houston getting the victory yesterday. And in a very cold football game, the Miami Dolphins lose to the Kansas City Chiefs last night. So 2 games out of the way of the games that are set. Let me go back to that graphic as you take a look at that Pittsburgh Steelers Buffalo. That was going to happen today at 3 o'clock. That has been shifted to Monday to before the Eagles Buccaneers game. So we got 2 games today. That's going to be the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys, and the Rams and the Lions. So that's what the schedule is, with a little bit of the change on what's going on. So that being said, and I forgot to put it in. I've been so busy that, I've been sleeping. I've been very tired. So I didn't put in the one he wants, but I will get it next week. I do promise. It is the one, the only, the what? Well, hold on. What? Oh, like, wait a second.
Try taking the graphic off.
Where is he? The graphic has to go down. There he is. It's Trey Mack. Good morning, my friend.
I sent you the best Christmas gift I can ever give you, and you don't even want
no, that's the best gift for you.
Oh, how many times have you and I done commentary and you say, God, I wish somebody would choke out Wobble. And boy, I did it as a gift to you. And here you are, just not even playing up here. I don't even care anymore.
Well, hey, but congratulations. I got to give homage, bragging rights. So I know if I don't do it every week, he's just going to remind me. So I'm paying homage to the bragging rights champion. I'm not worthy. So there you go. The champion, that being Trey Mack, as far as that is concerned. Now, in our secondary game, it's kind of interesting what's going on. Folks that don't know, we're doing a playoff pick'em, but we added the what are they called? Confidence points. We're adding the confidence points and a couple tiebreakers, so maybe we can get a winner this year instead of
that. Really,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say that whole confidence thing really threw me off there. I was like, "This is a thing." I just said it.
It's interesting. I do, and I kind of like it, even though I'm not doing very good at it. So I must be on a delay. Am I on a delay?
A little bit of betting.
I supposedly have the best internet, 1 gig down, and I should never have a problem. I don't get it. Anyway, but that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. Welcome on. Hopefully that lag will catch on and move off and go away. But so how are you doing this morning? So let me ask you that. How are you this morning?
Woke up this morning to 9 degrees outside. 9.
We are 13 here, so a little warmer.
It is cold. It is cold up here in the A.
Yeah,
yeah. It's not fun. And the bad thing is, like in my house, I have no what do you call it? No central heat and air. So all I run is off of just these little bitty what do you call it? These little heaters that
space
are plugged in or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my poor son is here with me right now, and he's probably freezing his ass off.
He's all bundled up like a bug in a rug, I imagine. So,
by the way, last night I know we had football on yesterday, but of course my son is not a big football fan per se, but because it's just not his thing. But we watched 4 classic movies last night, and man,
I saw one of them. You said you were watching Forrest Gump.
We watched Forrest Gump first, and then later on, I mentioned the movie. What was it? The Replacements, the Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman.
Oh yeah.
Movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in saying, the best football movie he's ever seen was The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. I'm like, okay, well, you like Adam Sandler, so I get that. So he put this movie on, and I said, okay, which one was better? He's like, this one was better, Dad. This one was better. I'm like, sweet. All right, it's my favorite movie. And then of course, then I said, well, I got another one you might be interested in. She's like, what's that? It's a movie where the guy who was the quarterback in The Replacements, Keanu Reeves, played a cop who had to be on a bus, who if the bus went below 50 miles per hour, the bus would blow up. That'd be speed.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, okay, let's watch that. Glued the entire time. He loved every bit of it. Wow. Then it's going to be about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm still awake. He's still awake, and then I was like, we were talking about Eddie Murphy or something. I'm like, the best movie that of his ever was? Like, what's that? Life. And I may mention that there's a game I play on my phone where the name of my restaurant is called the Boom Boom Room, which is a thing based off the movie. And also, our close friend Bobby Horn, one of his favorite movies too. And so we put the movie on. He's watching. He's loving every bit of it. I messaged Bobby saying, I introduced my son. I messaged Bobby last night. I said, I introduced my son to the Boom Boom Room. He's like, thumbs up. So he knew what I was talking about. It was a fun little night with 4 movies. He was glued to every one of them. Didn't fall asleep on me like he normally does. So a little bit of bonding there with it. We went down to Davis, Oklahoma, and got some barbecue out there at a place called Smoking Joe's. Really good.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. They got some out. They got some out here.
Yeah, it's right over there by Turner Falls. Really good stuff. So I do recommend.
Yeah, very good. I watch football. Okay, let me rephrase that. I fell asleep during the first one and watched the second one. So, but I woke up to the Browns losing yesterday. I woke up probably like 10 minutes before the game was over. No, did
not see that.
Interestingly enough, and if you watch the show on a regular basis, everybody knows how I feel about rookie quarterbacks. Okay, don't like them; they suck. Yes. But I might be, maybe I was wrong a little bit about what we're seeing with Stroud. Now, granted, when I say they all suck, I mean that in general. There's usually always one that might stand out a little bit, but not like what CJ Stroud did yesterday. He put on a performance yesterday that commanded the respect of a guy who'd been playing in the league for a while. And the interesting thing about that, think about this, okay? So rookie quarterback and a brand new head coach. doing what they did, and pretty impressive, especially against a defense that was supposedly really good. Forgot about the fact about how they don't play well on the road. I penciled in on how well they did on the road last time, and that is they beat the hell out of the Texans, pretty handily.
My thing is that when you have a young coach like that and the young quarterback, and they're going to grow together. Once again, I'm not saying Belichick was young at the time, but when you have a Belichick Brady situation where they kind of grow together as coach and player, that can be a good thing. Down the road, that might be a bad thing. You never know. But the cool thing is that this game really showed you how well having home field advantage in the playoffs could really be. Because had the game taken place in Cleveland, we might have a different situation. Which will bring us to our game later. We'll talk about a little later with the Cowboys and then the Packers, how the Cowboys have been 16-0 at home in the last 2 years. And that might be a factor against Green. Now, once again, Green Bay travels well. I understand that. I know they're calling for a whiteout at the Cowboy Stadium, but you'll see your hints of green and yellow everywhere. So,
you'll see the spots.
Yeah, you'll see it, but it won't be nearly as much as people think it would be.
Maybe within the first 3 years, that would have been probably mostly Packers in there. So as far as that new stadium is concerned. So interestingly enough, that should be a really good game today because there's a lot of storylines in that. Of course, we're going to cover that here as far as that is concerned with the game. Right. So that being said, I don't know. So you didn't watch any of the games yesterday, or
I saw a good part of the Browns Houston game, and I was blown. I mean, when you give up 2 pick sixes like that, it's toast. It is so toast at that point. Yeah. And I mean, at that point, you're telling the other team's defense, okay, you supposedly are great. Let's see how great you are. And CJ Stroud, I remember earlier in the year when they played. I think it was the Bengals, and at the time, I agree. 100. See, I would say that Cuervo. Problem is, my high school was green and gold, which is kind of green and yellow at the time, so that's where I had that little bit of issue with that. But then again, our name was called the Trojans too, so there you go. There's
gotcha.
All the common jokes are thrown our way, but But no, I remember when they played the Bengals, I think it was, and it was kind of a measuring stick game, which I picked Houston to win. And at that time, you were just hell bent on saying CJ Stroud's not going to be a good quarterback this year. He's a rookie, yada yada yada. And they won. And I remember saying measuring stick, and they have really answered all the bells and whistles. Are they going to go all the way this year? I don't think so. But it's so hard. It's so hard to really tell with that team because it's Houston, and Houston's never really put out a quality winner on a year-to-year basis, whether it's the Oilers or the Texans. But something's different going on down there right now. So I mean, you know what? Good for them. It's a new day out there, and hopefully CJ Stroud's the guy to do that for him. Once again, this is a great experience for him. NFL playoff experience, first year. You can only go up from here.
That's tough. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's tough. As a rook, they'd be able to get it. That is tough. So someone popped into, yes, the one, the only Obi-Wan, W-O-N, Obi-Wan. How you doing? Good morning, my friend.
Man. No.
He had
what?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, what happened yesterday? Oh my God! Joe Flacco looked like the Joe Flacco that was in the other uniforms that was not playing well yesterday.
What happened?
By the way, the defense kind of stunk it up too.
What happened was, I'll agree with that. Was that Houston had a fantastic game plan?
Oh yeah,
and that game plan was to make this game a track meet and to ensure that CJ Stroud got the ball off quickly so our rush could not get to him. Then you saw there was a lot of dump passes, screen passes, short outs, just things like that. I think the deepest pass that he threw in the first half was
7, 8 yards.
No, was it late in the second half when he threw that long pass to the tight end?
Right.
And that was his longest pass in the half.
Yeah.
And and then we come out, and I was telling a friend of mine, I said, after we stopped them on their initial drive in the third quarter, I said, the Browns must score on this drive. If they don't, the game is over.
Keeping it real.
And then what do we do? Throw pick six. Game, set, match. It was ugly as a Browns fan, frustrating as a Browns fan, because, hey, Joe Flacco's not our quote starter, but he was an experienced player, experienced quarterback, had playoff experience. We had some guys that have been there for a few years, leaders of the team. And I'll tell you, the guy that killed us on the defense was our safety, Greg Newsom. That guy can't cover shit.
This stinks! This is total BS!
Yes. So I wanted to come on. I wanted to go ahead and take my lumps. And too bad Bryce isn't here, because I'm sure he'd have that big ass smile on his face.
Oh, that was terrible. Crazy knucklehead, terrible.
But I'm sure that the Podfather will probably fill his shoes and say, "See,
I picked the Browns, and the thing is that I was watching the game too, and you had mentioned something about the game, like the officiating in this game was horrible. It was horrible for a good one. I'm not saying that's what made the game, what it was, but there were several times where Amari Cooper was held up. A lot of times pass interference was not called. And I'm like, what more does the referee need to see? The guy's being mugged before the ball even gets there. What's it going to take? But once Flacco threw 2 picks and 2 pick sixes, I'm like, you don't win a game if that happens, especially in the playoffs.
You know what? It's very hard to win a regular season game that way, especially in the playoffs. And that hit on Flacco when he slid in the first half. I mean, that was close, but I felt that should have been a personal foul.
I think they rolled into that game thinking they were going to win it. This was something that they didn't even really trap game, if that's what you want to call it, overlooking them. That's what exactly happened. But really only one thing happened as far as that. When you overlook football teams like that and you go in with that strut and you don't back the strut, I guess is what you would be able to say. What happens is the game isn't going to
amount to jack squat.
And that's what happened there. They weren't able to do it. They had the opportunity to go out and prove their dominance on the defensive side of the field. They didn't do that. They got caught up in their own hype. So, but that also being said, it is that time.
You can't see me.
Thursday night, Friday night, we couldn't see him most of the night, not because of the camera. It was dark, and we could not see. There he is. We can see him today. It is CUERVO, the fine co-host of this program. How you doing, my friend?
Gentlemen, good morning. Maybe not so much for Obi, but at least your team made the playoffs. So
at least. My Sonny pushed that one. His Jaguars didn't
make the playoffs. My team is in a lot of trouble in the AFC South, by the way, after that performance you saw from Houston. Oh God. Gaga maggot. That's how bad that was. Now, I want to shoot it down to the fine co-host of this program. We're on a different kind of pick'em thing. What do you think about the confidence points in the pick'em in the playoffs? How do you like that? Do you hate it? What's your take up on the confidence points?
No, yeah, I like it. I think it really tests, our knowledge of what we know of the game and how we pick games. So I kind of like it, even though we missed on that Cleveland game. But other than that, I think it's cool. I think, yeah. I mean, I don't think we should do it regular season. I
don't think we should either, but I think for the playoffs is kind of so maybe someone will win this thing because we don't give the award on ties, so you got to win it outright. Which, by the way, I am the only one that has won the playoffs. That's right, the one I got all games except one 2 years ago. So I was the only one to hold it, but so maybe someone will bring it home. Yeah, so it's my only. It's my only. Hey, no, it is official. I got the plaque, even though it's still packed. I got the plaque, which, by the way, probably sometime next month, Podfather will receive his plaque for his fine performance in the regular season. I pay homage in front of people too. Here you go, Podfather, the bragging rights champion, in going on. So I gotta do that. And plus, and not next week, but the week after, we will start. I'm going to do the Hulk Hogan thing, so it should be interesting. I got to get the stuff, and it's going to be sent to me.
I thought you already had the stuff.
I have only white. I only have white. I need to get some black. So, but yeah.
Right. So I got to ask you a question. So if you're going to do the Hulk Hogan thing, are you going to do it when he was like the Hulkamaniac, or are you going to do it when he was NWO?
NWO. Yeah, so it's going to be black around, then the white, and then the black in the middle. So it should be, really interesting. By the way, your head looks like, nice and smooth this morning there, Podfather. So you're rocking and rolling. So
yes, I ended up getting one of those head shaver things.
Nice. Did you get one? I didn't think any of them. I do the old fashioned razor thing. So
you know, the ones that wrap around your fingers. You just
really nice.
Okay, cool. I'll take a look at them. Maybe I might do that. All right. So Cuervo, 2 games happened yesterday. The Cleveland Browns, of course, won. Obi is not feeling pretty good this morning. The Kansas City Ice Bowl that happened last night. I almost wish that game would have been played in real weather, just more of it. Now granted, if you play in it, you got that advantage. Kansas City plays in that often, not that cold, but in cold. And we just kind of seen falling apart of what the Dolphins had done all year long. They didn't even get off the side, before any of that happened. So.
Yeah. So I think what you're asking is my take on the games yesterday. I'm surprised Obi has not taken a sledgehammer and just gone out to his backyard and just start smashing things that he doesn't care about. Because if I was a Browns fan, that's exactly what I'd be doing. Now, Cuervo, why would you be doing that? Why would you be so upset at the Browns? And it's not even about the score; it's about how they got there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't know. I think Bryce and I were kind of on the same wavelength in that moment, because I had literally just looked up how many times the Browns had ran the ball at that point in the game. Obi, do you know the answer to that question?
What point of the game?
So it was probably
what point of the game?
Right after halftime, I believe.
They hadn't run the ball very much in the first half. They ran the ball a total of 20 times the whole game.
Right, and when Bryce and I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw that back and forth Bryce and I had about why are the Browns not running the ball? They had ran the ball 12 times at that point in the game. 12 times. Yep. And Joe Flacco had 2 of those on scrambles. So Hunt and Ford both had 5 rushes after the first half.
Yep.
And so I'm like, what has gotten you to where you're at right now? You guys ground and pound, right? And then come playoff time, I think we're going to ask Joe Flacco to throw it 40 times.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You missed it when I came on. Is I said that Houston wanted to make this a track meet, and the Browns are not a team that do very well coming from behind And the Texans scored their touchdowns quickly in the first half. It was like the Browns scored, and then if it was like 3 or 5 plays later, the Texans are scoring. And it's like, so I think that in halftime they went in there, and I think that Stefanski and the other coaches said, okay, this is going to be a track meet. We need to throw the ball. We need to keep pace. And that first pick six was a killer. I mean, a killer. And then you get the ball back, and then you throw another one. Game over.
Yeah.
They're not going to run the ball anymore after that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Houston never let Cleveland. Houston never let Cleveland get comfortable, though. They never let them get comfortable because once again, like you said, once Cleveland would score, Houston bounced right back and put the ball back in the end zone, and it stayed that way. And then when the pick sixes happened, it was curtains at that point because, okay, well, offensively you don't have it anymore. Defensively, you don't have it anymore.
Yep.
It's game set.
Our defense was to Cuervo. I said also that Greg Newsome, our safety, is a piece of shit. He can't cover nothing.
So he's the Eddie Jackson on the Browns, is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, I got it. I picked up what you drop in there, Obi. So so the follow-up question, and then you may have not thought this far out, Obi. What would you like to see the Browns do in the offseason? What do you think is their priority? What do you think they should draft to maybe keep up with teams that want to get into a track meet with them going into the future? Or maybe it's another safety since you think Newsome is just complete garbage.
Well, in regards to drafting, I think that they need to draft. Probably a defensive player, maybe a safety, one that is not going to that we don't need a instant impact from. We need to bring him in and cultivate him. I mean, the rest of our defense, I think, is good. We need to. I mean, it was top 5 defense all season, so we need to draft. This is what we need to draft: is safety, and then we need to draft. And then we need to bring in some sort of other player from other teams. We need to bring in an established wide receiver. Mari Cooper, when he gets doubled, pretty much has sealed our fate of there's no one else that's going to step up except Njoku. So you look at Joe Flacco when he came in, the 6 games that he was available to play, he played 5 of them. He was 4-1 in the regular season. Right. And then yesterday he played. The 2 players that you see him throwing the ball to the most is Amari Cooper or David Njoku.
Right.
So we need another wide receiver or slot receiver to take the pressure off of Amari Cooper, to take the pressure away from Amari, because they're double teaming him. And when Amari Cooper is not 100% and he gets double teamed, he is a non-factor.
I'll give you Michael Gallup.
Michael Gallup. Okay. All right. But I think, and this is what we need to do also, is I think we need to get rid of one of our quarterbacks, probably Walker. And I think that we need to make it every opportunity and point to keep Joe Flacco on our team. Joe Flacco is an experienced player and a veteran leader. I think Joe Flacco would be good for that other quarterback that we have that's supposedly supposed to be the savior, but he gets hurt. So I want somebody to come in there that has experience and can lead this team. And Joe Flacco's, he's demonstrated that. So that's what I think we need. And we need somebody to be able to call plays and somebody to be able to make adjustments in the game.
You are somewhat right. I think there's also one thing they need to do. Okay. All right. Now, granted, they're going to get their guy back at the running back position, hopefully, at the beginning of the year. Okay. But my problem is, and it's the same with the Steelers, is not utilizing the talent. And going into the playoffs, Obi, you can't go in playing the same game that you were playing. Okay, that's what Houston did. They threw the Cleveland Browns a curveball that they weren't expecting. Obviously, they kicked the hell out of them the last time they were down in Houston, and so instead they went with a different game plan. That's what the Cleveland Browns should have done, as far as this first round is concerned. But the main part of it is not getting Kareem Hunt involved at the game. Whether you can see that he wasn't running the football very well, why not get him out on a pass play? Why don't you find the plays where he can utilize first of all, his speed is unbelievable. So get him out in the open field and get him the damn ball and let him make some plays. And they did not do it. And not only that, I didn't even see him because I rewatched the game because I actually slept through it yesterday. So I watched this morning and they weren't even utilizing him in any way outside of the backfield. And if they would have done something like that, that would have been something that might have caught the Houston Texans off a kilter, and they could have had some successful plays by utilizing him in a different way, because you've seen the running game was not working. Period. That didn't happen. You seen them run into the brick walls, and after a while, and that's also another reason why you've seen Joe Flacco go to the air as much, because they weren't having very much success throwing the football.
Well, there was a couple of times I remember that they tried to get Kareem Hunt the ball in a screen pass, but they couldn't because the defensive line was in the backfield so quickly that Flacco had no time.
Yeah,
and one of the comments that the color commentator made yesterday during the broadcast was that when Kareem Hunt has the ball in his hands, he runs angry.
Yes.
And that's what I want to see. Nick Chubb runs angry. They're running like they're angry and they're running downfield. That's when Kareem Hunt is most dangerous.
Yep.
Get him. I agree. Get him the ball.
Yes.
Get your star players. That he got the ball to Njoku. He got the ball to sometimes Amari Cooper. But you gotta utilize Kareem Hunt to his advantage, which is run plays when they're not expecting run plays, and getting him the ball on swing passes, screen passes, or quick outs, something like that. That's what they should have done. But the Texans made the game a track meet. And I'm telling you what, that Nico Collins kid, he's damn good. He's damn good.
I got a question real quick. Is Kareem Hunt going to be a part of the team next year, though, with Nick Chubb coming back?
It's going to be my question.
Here's my thing. Here's what I see. I mean, Kareem Hunt was not part of the team in the beginning, and they brought him in after Chubb got hurt. I think this is what I think is going to happen. I think the Browns are going to let Kareem Hunt go, and they're going to keep Chubb, and they're going to keep Jerome Ford. That's what I see, which is sad because I feel that Kareem Hunt is a player that we need to keep.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. The same thing is happening, but here's the problem with that. As far as Chubb and Hunt should not have been separated. They should have been together at the beginning of this year. And that really kind of hurt this team. It probably cost them 2 games by them not being together through that time. Now, granted, Chubb got hurt early, but still the camaraderie of those 2 guys together, we saw what it was last year. It was nothing but success. And then you separated him and said, well, maybe he's not good enough. Now, granted, he wanted some money. He ended up getting it, but that still didn't help the Browns per se. And that's what hurt the team through that part. Now, what I'm actually worried about is they're taking the young cat. I forget his name. I think they might they need to definitely figure out how Nick Chubb and him can get along better. I think you're right. I think they're gonna kick Hunt or Kareem Hunt out. But then the question is where is he gonna go? I know where he goes. And as stupid as it sounds, I think he needs to go to Cincinnati and he can jam it up their ass for not getting them the money. See, that's the mentality I think that he has as far as
Kareem
that's
Hunt
concerned.
and Joe Mixon in the backfield together.
Absolutely. Oh, you want to talk a 1-2 punch and then get together, have the relationship that they should have done last year, putting them together and trusting both of them. And this goes back to the fact, Cuervo, that these running backs are not getting the money that they maybe should or you should get. Now you got the Eagles involved with it, and I bet you a dime that's where he ends up. I bet so. I don't know. What do you think about the idea of Kareem Hunt hitting over there and working a little backfield with the Cincinnati Bengals?
I don't know. I think they like what they saw from their rookie what's his name, Chad Brown or something Brown.
Jerome.
Oh wait,
Jerome
Bengals. No,
Bengals.
Oh,
their rookie running back they have.
I think his name is Brown. I think his
last name is Brown. I think his first name was like Chad or something like that. But anyway, I think they like what they see from him. So I don't see the Bengals going after Kareem Hunt. I think a team to look at, and this all depends on. We're going to go to Podfather's division here. It all depends on what the Giants do with Saquon Barkley. He could be a fit with the Giants. He could be a fit
with the Cowboys too.
He could go to Dallas. Absolutely.
I hear he's on the market. I read someplace that the Giants are not going to re-sign him. So just within some of the reading that I've read,
they're not going to tag him, and I don't think he's going to do a 1-year deal again. So I think it's over in New York with Saquon Barkley. So he'll be moving on. And then like the Podfather said, I mean, what's up with Pollard? They're gonna have him stick around. Is he gonna walk?
I think it depends on what the Cowboys do. What the Cowboys do here in the playoffs. They've got two different options, in my opinion, between Hunt and Derrick Henry, because it definitely sounds like Derrick Henry's no longer going to be a Titan. So
yeah, he's already said goodbye. So that's something that's not happening. So. And that being said, of course, that's the name of this show. We got the games going on today. As far as the playoffs, we had the game move. We talked about that a little bit. So the Steeler game is going to move to before the thing. Did I send that to? I don't know if I had the opportunity to send that to you. Did I, Cuervo?
No, sir, you did not. But it looks good.
Oh, I am sorry. I usually do that, but I've been half asleep this morning. But the Steelers and the Buffalo game is going to be moved over there. Matter of fact, I think they should just move that game. As part of as much as the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dolphin game was quite entertaining, I still want to see. I want to take the weather excuse out of almost all of these games. I wish there was a way that we could do that where that's not a problem.
Okay, timeout, Sonny. Timeout.
I know home field advantage. I just want the excuse. I just don't want to hear the excuses on why a team loses and things of that sort. That's all.
Are you kidding me? Have you seen what the stadium looks like in Buffalo?
What? Yeah, I've seen what it's
very
you can't play in that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I wish they could take the weather portion out of the game and move that game more so because of what's happening over in Buffalo. That's all I'm saying. Just so you can take the excuses out for it.
Well, Sonny, the big excuse is the fact the governor of the state had already declared a state of emergency, so they wouldn't allow any traveling.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh's not even in Buffalo right now. They can't get into Buffalo.
Wait, am I speaking Spanish or something? Maybe I'm not getting that.
You're speaking stupid.
I'm just saying I want the game moved because I don't want the excuse of the weather for any team.
You can't move the game. You can't move the game because you can't move any of the teams over there.
Okay, listen, hold on. Do you honestly think that the Buffalo Bills could not get out of that state?
No one can get on the roads. No one can get on the roads. You can't just go. You can't just drop an airplane by someone's house and pick them up.
All right, maybe I think the NFL is able to do pretty much anything they want because usually they do, and they can get the hell out of Buffalo and go play somewhere. Maybe they did it last year. They went to Detroit, but so I guess that I don't know. I just thinking in my mind since last year they went to.
It does take away the home field advantage part that you do have, which is a perk of actually winning your division.
Exactly.
I get it.
But at the same time, though, when you have a governor of your state declare a state of emergency, it is out of the football god's hands. Okay, it is out of everybody's hands at that point.
So the fact that he didn't call for a state of emergency last year, which seemed like last year was a little bit more.
It's a she, by the way.
Say again.
It's a she.
It's a she.
Whoever, whatever.
Well, that matters to some people.
Man, I'm getting nitpicked like you wouldn't believe. Here, take that. Just take the beard and drag my ass out of here. But anyway, I'm just saying. I wish they could. I don't know how they're going to do it or whatever they're going to do. They're going to play the game tomorrow. Maybe I don't know. But if they play the game tomorrow, they can play it someplace else. That's all I'm saying because I don't like the excuse out of it. However, I don't think Buffalo or the Dolphins had too much of a chance. Even if the weather wasn't as bad as it was in Kansas City. So review that really quick, Cuervo. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins game yesterday. It's the one I actually watched live. I didn't see a lot more so except that it's a good thing that Kelsey dropped a couple of passes or that score would have been a little bit worse than it was.
Well, it helped me to win a little cash on the under, so that's always good. But the weather was fine. Look, I know it was cold as hell, but you can play through that. So that was the only bad thing about the weather last night in Kansas City. It was just how cold it was. So luckily for them, it wasn't like a blizzard or anything like that. I think that there were things talked about at the beginning of the game where the field was just completely solid, but I think a lot of stadiums and they showed it where they have like those underground heaters
that was cool.
To keep the field somewhat warm, keep that grass soft. But you could just tell that both, and they're replaying the game right now on NFL Network, but you could just tell by watching the game, both of those teams were just like, just get the hell out of here. Let's just hurry up and get this game over with.
Get it over with.
Yeah, it was stupid cold last night. I mean, before the game even started, my wife's like, Jesus, Mahomes looks like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with his his nose is already like frozen. But yeah, it was just I can only imagine how uncomfortable it is to play in 5 below zero weather. It sounds fun, but it probably to do it is probably not fun.
Well, as an old man of 56 years old, nothing about that sounds fun. And I bet you Andy Reid had to be really careful with his beard when he went back, or his mustache. I don't know if you saw it, man. It looked, his beard was frozen over. That's how cold it was.
Yeah, there was a Dolphins player too. You could see a bunch of whatever on there, and
I felt bad for Andy Reid, and of course someone's going to snap that picture with all that in his beard, and that'll probably be a meme all over the internet sometime today or tomorrow. But that's what it is.
Okay,
so I don't know. I was actually bringing it to you. I'll zip you in. Go ahead.
All right. I've been reading some of these. I guess they're bogus reports because it's not from a reliable source. But you think Andy Reid's going to retire after this year?
Who?
Andy Reid retire? Why?
Andy Reid.
I haven't heard that.
No, will he retire after he won the Super Bowl?
Maybe they were bogus.
I said, would he retire? Oh, sorry. Would he retire if he won the Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, there are some people that are saying this is his last year in Kansas City, that he's had enough. and that he's gonna either do a Belichick or just fade off to the sunset because he's put a lot of years in coaching already, right? He's given up a lot for his family and everything else. This could be it. You can't imagine this year was that much fun for him, considering all the nonsense
I'm sure
that was going
last
on with
night
Taylor
wasn't
Swift
fun.
and yeah, I know last night could have been a deal breaker for me. Plus, you're playing in a place that doesn't have a dome, so you're sitting there going, "Do I really want to do this again for another year?" I mean, I don't know. And not every place you go to is going to have a dome, so
I saw they had some coats that were warming coats. As far as that's concerned, I'd like to get me one of those warming coats, but they don't make it in fat ass size. By the way, that's pH fat. They don't make them that big.
I'm FAT, so I don't care.
Yeah. They don't make them our size. They disrespecting our big fat asses. But hey, it is what it is.
I'm gonna do some. It's not really breaking news. It's just what I've been hearing. I wish Bryce was here because Bryce has a better pulse of what's going on in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, I think I heard your rumblings.
Could be done, and not because of it could be like one of those mutual agreements. Hey, I'm done. I've done what I need to do, and they're parting ways. Now, if that being, this is the name of the show. If that's being said, here's the guy who I think would come in. I feel Pittsburgh would be like on the boat, like literally Tomlin walks out the door, they're picking up the phone, they're giving this dude a call. Because this coach is exactly like Pittsburgh material.
Who is it, Obi?
Let's see if it's Mike Vrabel.
There you go. What'd I tell you, Sonny?
Who?
What'd I say on Friday?
Vrabel.
Oh, Vrabel. Yeah, Vrabel. Yes,
it's exactly what I said.
We were kind of talking about that, in the chat about Vrabel, where he might possibly go, and
that is like a fit for Vrabel and Pittsburgh. That's like a marriage in heaven.
I'm sure if that scenario would happen, I don't think Bryce would have too much of a problem with that as far as that is concerned. So, but yeah, interestingly enough,
Obi,
what?
Can I ask Obi a quick question about that? And this will obviously not happen, but would you become a Steeler fan if Vrabel became the head coach and he called up a certain someone to be his offensive coordinator? Hey, Ryan, it's Mike Vrabel. Want to come be my OC in Pittsburgh? Yeah, coach. Yeah, let's do it. You know what Ryan I'm talking about.
I know what Ryan you're talking about.
Would you be a Steeler fan at that point?
I'm just going to say this. Okay. Number one, I'll answer your question. No, I would not be a Steeler fan.
I figured.
Number two, I would say if Ryan Day leaves or is kind of forced out during the offseason, I want them to hire Mike Vrabel. Period.
Ohio State.
Yeah. But if Mike Vrabel takes Ryan Day away from Ohio State,
Buckeyes are
the Buckeyes are in trouble. Because I don't know who we would bring on. Brian Hartline, who's the receivers coach and assistant OC, he's not head coach material right now. He's too young. I think it would be too much responsibility for him to kind of manage the whole thing. He does great at what he does. He's assistant OC. He recruits the hell out of Ohio and Pennsylvania, and for those, he's a great guy to bring in the receivers. Receiver U is Ohio State. Look at it. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is, and that's because of Brian Hartline. So for Vrabel to get the head coach and give Mr. Day a call and say, "Hey, I want you to come and be my OC," I don't care. I'm not a Steelers fan. That would be like you, like Cuervo asking you, let me ask you this question. Who is the one coach, I don't care if they're available or not, who's the one coach that you would want to see be head coach of the Bears, and then they go and they call up somebody from Tennessee, say, hey, I want you to be my OC. It'd be like asking you that for the Bears. Or for the Packers or something like that. Say, hey, if the Packers win.
Okay, I understand. So let's say Green Bay fires LaFleur. They're like, hey, Jim Harbaugh, you want to come be the Packers head coach? Yeah. And then by some miracle, he convinces Peyton Manning to become his OC.
And would you be a Packers fan?
I'd probably still not be a Packers.
There you go.
Actually, I'd be really disappointed. I'd be really disappointed in Peyton.
Peyton.
More than anything.
Peyton and Eli have a good gig. They're fine.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
No.
They're just fine with ESPN. So.
Yeah,
I just want to tell you that, Obi. I know that ain't gonna happen. I know you'll never be a Steelers fan. Just But hey, if Ryan Day,
Ryan Hartline name sounds familiar outside of coaching. Did he play a stint in the NFL? Okay. No, in the NFL. Well, no, I don't care about it. Who cares about Ohio State? Did he play in the NFL, Brian Hartline?
Yes.
Okay. Dolphins, wasn't it? Was it the Dolphins? Yeah, okay, got it. Okay. I vaguely remember the name. I think it's because he had a pretty good contract, and then he kind of dwindled out after the contract was signed. So I'm thinking of the right guy.
Yes, sir.
Cuervo, in the couple of years that the Cowboys had Bill Parcells as their coach, trust me, I looked at that team the entire time and went, we have Bill Parcells as our head football coach? Really? Because I remember the years of the Giants. I remember all that stuff. So, I mean, the fact that we had the enemy coaching us and bringing in former Giants players to help coach the Cowboy team, I was like, no, I don't want that. But
felt weird,
we had it for a couple of years, so.
Felt weird.
Oh my god! I mean, it would be the equivalent. Right? To me, it would be the equivalent to if Jerry Jones would have been able to dig up Buddy Ryan and say, "Hey, come coach the Cowboys." That would be just as bad. So.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Anyway,
thinking about Buddy Ryan.
Yeah, he's going to tear up, and it's too cold to tear up. They'll freeze around here. I don't know. How cold is it in Arizona, Obi?
It's supposed to be like today. It's supposed to be like low 60s, but we've been freezing our asses off out here.
Shut up, man.
We've been freezing our asses off.
If anybody deserves to be bitch slapped, it's you for saying shit like that. After we're over here in 17 degrees weather, So
17 degrees. That's a heat wave from
dude was sitting on his porch watching the freaking football game yesterday. I would have definitely
before the game. My dog wanted. I popped the beer, and my dog ran straight for the Arcadia door. And he's like, "Okay, Dad, we're gonna go out and sit on the porch."
Okay. Forget food. You pop a beer. He wants to go outside.
He likes beer. He likes beer. He wants to go out so he knows he can have some.
Obi gets bored. He feeds the dog beer just to watch him walk sideways and bump into walls.
I just pour a little bit on the floor.
Listen, Sonny, we get pets for our own little science experiment. Okay, that's all it is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got the games going on. We got the games going on today. So we got doubleheader today, doubleheader tomorrow. Both games start at 3:00. At least our time. So Cuervo, I know you got some plans today. What are your plans outside of watching football before we jump into the games? Because we're going to do that.
Got some errands to run. The big thing this year, as far as the wife and I, our goals for this year. Do some stuff around the house, so we're going to go do some shopping. Not groceries, but...
Don't you get a whole off season for that kind of crap? I mean, seriously, I don't know. But
tell her that. Message her right now and tell her that. Right?
I mean, what are you gonna do? Watch soccer in the off season, for God's sake? You know,
Just wait for baseball. Just wait for baseball.
Yeah. You got to push those dates back. It's like you don't go to weddings, during football season.
We'll be back in time. We'll be back in time for the games to start.
Oh, okay, very good. All right, cool. Good.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Good.
1:30 your time? Or
yeah, 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30. Yep. 1:30 Cali time and 12:30 your time. So
2:30.
Are you still? Are you on California time or Arizona time or Mountain time?
Right now we're on Mountain time.
Okay.
The games start right now. It's 8:54 here.
Got it. Okay, that's earlier in the season where you're on Cali time. Got it. All right, cool. So that being said, that's the name of the show. You're going to. Are you going to work there, Podfather, after the game or after the show?
No. This is my MLK holiday day off. So I have my son until later on tonight. Then I will take him back after the Cowboy game. I'll take him back to his mother's and then make the long cold trip back up to Ardmore, Oklahoma. So hopefully the roads aren't that bad, but we'll see what happens. It looks like for the next I'll say it looks like for the next 2 days I'll be having to rough it at the resort at WinStar World Casino because the roads are supposed to get really bad the next 2 days. And then they got the hotel they're gonna put the employees up at, so it'll be rough.
Oh, there you go. Hey, that's the worst case. And by the way, those rooms are nice. So yeah, and Obi's popping beers, so the hell with him. Sitting on his back porch like care in the world. But anyway, it is what it is.
Hey, I did my chores. I did my chores yesterday morning.
Gotcha. You got to learn how to put those on a little later too. But that being said,
I have to have my wife. I have to have my chores done before she gets home.
Yeah, I know. Before you can come out and play, so I get it. Yeah. I understand. But anyway, that
trash out.
Yep. Right. All right. So the way this works now, since there's been a change in the schedule, as the Buffalo Bills are going to be moving to Monday, that brings us to the game that that dude over there, he's ready for. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be. Yeah, I know. I'm backward now. That being said, let's find out. Yeah, that guy right there. Poke him in the eyes. Do the Anyway.
Well, you almost got
Cowboys at home. Hey, this is I know. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't do this shit very well. All right, so give me a.
You're not a what?
A meteorologist.
You're not a what?
Yeah, up yours. Anyway, hey, up yours, okay? Anyway, that being said, your Cowboys are in action, and this is kind of the year, okay? If you're going to break the mold, and the mold is that you guys suck when you get into the playoffs. In other words, they don't do well. They usually hit the first round, maybe the second round, but after that, we're not doing this. It's time to break the mold, and it starts today as the Dallas Cowboys, you say whatever you want about them, and I'm pretty good at it. I know how to bash them up pretty well, but they get the Green Bay Packers. And, the thing that I'm sick of already of hearing, Dez caught the ball. He didn't catch the ball. He did not catch the ball. Now, by today's standards, he did, but he did not catch the ball. Hey, I'll go get the picture. I'll show you how it isn't, because it's not even in his hands. So that being said, I'll find that picture while we're talking. You get a good game here, Green Bay. You got all the talk. You got all the things going back. So let's do this. Trey, I know you've looked at this game inside, outside, upside down, and inside out. What's your take up on the game today as they are playing at home, which you already know the record for the last couple of years inside that building. So what's your take up on today's game?
Can you re-say everything you just said there for a second? Because I don't think I got all that. Go ahead.
Oh, what? You got to see what I've done with the 3 years being a color commentator with this guy.
Look, hey. You're going on about a situation that doesn't take place this year. It took place in, 17? So look,
a long time ago.
The thing is, whatever.
Everybody's talking about it. Do you listen to listen to what they talk about?
You're the one talking. I'm not even. That's not a factor in my opinion. Okay, because that has nothing to do with today's game. That is not even part of the Cowboy game. The only person who's really relevant, I think, is Mike McCarthy, who was on the other side. Who threw the flag, by the way. Yeah, yes, sir.
You should know Sonny by now. The only reason he brought that up was to take a shot at Dez Bryant because he doesn't like him. That's what he does.
He's a scumbag. He's a scumbag. You hit your mother. You hit your mother. You're a scumbag by definition.
Listen. Clearly, here's the thing. Sonny likes to hear the sound of his own voice. That's why he keeps talking and talking and talking. He doesn't want anybody to talk over him because, God forbid, should we have a point. He doesn't want that crap. So, no. Look, here's the thing. Getting to today's game, which Dez Bryant is not a part of. Okay? Thank God. I wasn't a Dez fan either. Okay? But,
by the way, he didn't catch the ball, but okay.
Huh?
Only on Twitter.
Nothing.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm over it. Why aren't you? Anyway, look. Here's the thing. Dallas should they have every opportunity to get to the championship game this year, the NFC Championship game. They've got home field advantage. They have been great at home for the last 2 years. Now, that means nothing going into today's game because, as we saw yesterday, all it takes is a few mistakes by the odds-on favorite team to make those mistakes, and then all of a sudden, you get a couple of pick sixes, which you weren't calling for. It'd be a different ball game. Yeah, Dallas has got a lot to. I mean, here's the problem. Dallas is in a no-win situation. If they win today, well, they should have beaten Green Bay. If they lose to Green Bay, well, they can't win the playoffs. So then they go. So let's say they beat Green Bay. They go into next week's game. They play either the Rams or the Lions, right? So
I think that's the way it might work.
Again, if they beat them, well, they should have beat them because they beat them. They beat both these two teams early in the year. If they lose to them, well, they can't win the playoffs. They can't.
The Cowboys did not beat the Lions. On the paper, it does.
Okay.
But the Lions
on score. Time out. Did the score say otherwise?
Yes.
Okay, then the Cowboys beat the Lions. Okay. So I mean, the one that lost to the Lions had was against the Cowboys, right? I mean, on everybody's standings, right? That's what the loss to the Cowboys. Still lost to the Cowboys.
But out on the field, the Lions beat the Cowboys.
But that's not what the scoreboard says. So let's go what the scoreboard says. So hey, look. I love Dan Campbell. I love him to death. He lost that game for the Lions. Okay, he could have put that game into overtime, and they could have gone. They could have tried to have gotten the win that way. He tried three different occasions to get the ball into the end zone.
It's not Dan Campbell.
Is he the coach?
It shouldn't have been a second attempt, but it is what it is.
That's not what he is. That's not what he's about. He's about.
I get that. I get that.
I have an opportunity to win the game. I'm going to do it right now. And they did.
Listen, the fact of the matter is that wouldn't have done anything for these playoffs.
Sonny.
Yes.
Sonny, put the duct tape on the mouth. Let us talk, all right? Let the big boys talk, all right? Look, here's the thing. I love Dan Campbell. He plays Madden football. I love it. No problem, okay? I'm all for it. It didn't work out for them. They lost. So let's move on. If the Cowboys got to play them again or the Rams again, if they win, well, they beat them early in the year. So no, I mean, they should win. They got home field. If they lose, the Cowboys are screwed up. Now, they have all that going against them, okay? They need to shut up and just play the damn game like you say, Sonny. Don't talk. Just let us do our thing.
I don't say so. I say watch
what they should do is play the damn game. Shh. Whatever. Shut up. Anyway, they should play the game, get the win, which they should do today. I think we all can kind of agree that Dallas is a favorite to do this thing. Of course, Cowboy haters will say otherwise, but that's fine. That's fine. They have to prove the doubters wrong. Dak Prescott has had to go into this year knowing there's always going to be a target on his back. He's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and people are going to look at all the mistakes he's going to make. He threw 9 interceptions this year. Still technically a lot, but not as many as it was the year before. So he did a lot to improve on that. The game is different for him. He doesn't have a solid running back, which really hurts, I believe. And today there will be a good day for Pollard to start to learn how to run the football again. Once we bring the whole Kareem Hunt thing, he'd be a great addition to the Cowboys. But that's not possible for this game. So I think Dallas can definitely, if they can get ahead of this game early and put it away in say the first 2 quarters, and then take the ball in the second half and just kill the clock, do what they got to do to run the clock out, we'll be fine. Again, it's so hard to say what's going to happen today because this is uncharted territory yet again for Dallas. To take on a team like Green Bay, which they have their shares of ups and downs with, regardless of who the quarterback. By the way, Jordan Love, he is so turned it on this year, and he's pissed me off because picking him and picking against him has been the one thing that's really bothered me this year. I could have had a better record had he gone with what I told him to do, but he don't listen to me. So I do think Jordan Love's he's going to make it interesting. He's going to make it interesting for everybody today, and I think Dallas is going to struggle for a little bit, but then they'll find their. It's going to take Micah Parsons and all the people who are going to be rushing the quarterback to get in his ear and make him make mistakes. Make him make those rookie mistakes. Although he's not a rookie, make him make those mistakes to where it's going to cost Green Bay something. Again, it's Green Bay, and it's so hard to say what happens with them because they're such a tough team. Regardless, anyway you look at it. So, anyway, that's all I'm going to say. So, Sonny, you can talk now.
So yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. By the way, still wasn't a catch. You can sit there and argue. I can't find the picture, but if and when I do, I will.
I'm not arguing the point. Okay, I'm not. Why you keep bringing? Why you keep bringing it up? I don't care.
Hold on 1 second. See, this is the problem. The what do you call it? The miscommunication or not the lack of understanding. This is what people are talking about. I know you don't want to talk about it, Trey, but that's one of the things they are talking about. I know it's not, but that's what people. Hey, Cuervo, how many times have we talked about the Dallas Cowboys, especially? No, hold on. You shut up. I shut up. Now you shut up. But Cuervo, how many times have we talked about that? The things that are talked about, especially in Dallas, get overthrown. Even though, yes, Trey, but that's what we talk about. That's what this show's about, right, Cuervo?
Father, please finish what you were saying, and then I'll speak. Let's hear what the champ's got to say.
Cuervo, the floor is yours, my son.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like how I teased Father last week, where if you want to live the glory days of the Dallas Cowboys, you got to YouTube it. So, but all kidding aside, though, yeah, I just don't understand. It's a media thing. Oh, let's bring up something that happened 9 years ago or whatever.
Right.
It's like, for what? Like, whether Dez caught the ball or not, it doesn't matter. 8 years, 9 years later, which, by the way, he did catch it, but it doesn't matter anymore. Like, today, there's somebody else wearing number 88 for the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo is in the booth. Who else? Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. And all those guys on that Packer offense are no longer in the league, except Mercedes Lewis, who's a Bear. So
the only person relevant is Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, and McCarthy's the Cowboy coach now. So, so much has changed. So whether he caught it or not, it doesn't really, it's so irrelevant. But the media loves to bring up old crap just to have something to talk about. And when Sonny says they and people, I think he's referring to the media, NFL Network,
yes,
ESPN, and they replay that
and fans.
That play over and over and over. It's like, okay, well, how about every time Green Bay and Kansas City play, we'll just go back to Super Bowl I. How about that? We'll just relive Super Bowl I every time Chiefs Packers play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just stupid. It's stupid. Let's talk about it now.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what they talk about, and that be fans, and it's the overzealous.
20 years.
Yeah.
What is they? Show your face.
I have been hearing that for 50 some years.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
told
Brown.
me
Back in the AFL, the Browns and the Bears and the Packers were all good. And then start the Super Bowl era. Where have my Browns been? Not to be found. So I've been hearing they and all that crap for 50 some years.
Yeah.
So
well,
there you go.
Talking about what ends up happening, and obviously that happened years ago. It don't matter, but I just love bringing up the fact that Dallas Cowboy fans have not. They are the worst, by the way. Yeah. Well, no, they're the worst. Oh, wait, wait. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Bryce, because I was looking for a picture, Mr. Bryce from Brooklyn. Where's my button? Where's that good-looking guy there?
What?
No, not that one. This here. This one.
Can you dig it, sucker?
I can always dig having this guy, and I'm glad that he got in here because got a lot to talk about as far as the game is concerned. Tomorrow, it is the best smile on the internet. It is one Bryce from Brooklyn. What's up, my brother? Good to see you. Lost my voice there. The terrible towel. You better hope that's not frozen over like Andy Reid's mustache last night. I tell you right now, because you got a tough one coming up. So it's good to see you, my friend. Hey, look up to your right. There's somebody right there for you.
I hear it. I just want to hear it. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Cuervo's kind of given a little bit of a taste of what you guys were talking about yesterday, and I believe you. I am, as a matter of fact, why? That's all I have is why. 12 rushes in the first half, 20 for the game, 56 yards.
Oh, that's
ugly.
That is a choice.
It's probably because I didn't give him a pep talk like I did for the Steelers, and then he realized that maybe they should have done it. They should have just called me and paid me a small, consulting fee. That I would have said just run the damn ball, and but they didn't.
What's up, fellas? Always good to be here on the show. Playoff football is here.
Yes.
Yeah, that was. I picked the Browns to win that football game. I think maybe a lot of people did.
A lot of us did.
Yeah, I thought that it would be a competitive game. Definitely did not see that coming. But hey, like I tweeted out, Chris Canty on First Take ended up being a prophet, and he didn't overlook things that we did, which is the Browns' defense on the road has been terrible, and that is puzzling a little bit. For a team that wants to get after the quarterback, I can understand that a little bit because at home the offenses get to work on their own cadence and it favors their communication. But I just didn't see this coming. I joked with Obi and said, CJ Stroud, is Obi going to be conflicted about who he roots for? And of course he wasn't. But boy, that Ohio State kid, he went off on your defense. He went off on your defensive player of the year. So I mean, that was bad. That was, the Browns, for the year that they had, they showed they could overcome injuries. The coaching, I thought, was pretty good. They adjusted. 23-53 showed that they were better than years past. So while that's good, this was a bad playoff loss. Yeah, that's even with Joe Flacco at quarterback. That was a bad loss for Stefanski. They got smashed like we got smashed in the regular season. Some of these coaches are going to have to learn to adjust to D'Amico Ryans and slow it because they're running circles around them.
Yep, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So I am now not conflicted. I am now rooting for CJ Stroud for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think, look, listen. I know, they're going to talk about bias between Obi and myself. Look, Myles Garrett's not the defensive player of the year. He is a phenomenal defensive player. He is not he is not the guy that they're trying to make that PFF is making him to be, based on statistics and advanced measurements that they have come up with that they now must justify. In every single stat that we traditionally look at, TJ Watt is a guy that's ahead of him in everything. Plus, he has an opportunity to drop back in coverage, intercept passes, stuff that Myles Garrett probably can do, but doesn't have to because he's a 4-3 end. So it's a little unfair, but that defense on the road just, as Candy said, they don't show up, and that's a black eye on that team. And Schwartz gonna have to figure that out for next year.
Greg Newsome sucks.
Whoa, my goodness!
God, he was awful yesterday.
That's a tough day at the office. Every time the guy's running downfield, he's in the picture frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look. I also think too the Browns still lack a dude at linebacker.
I tell you what, that other dude there was it Foru or something like that. He was a beast yesterday.
Koru, yes.
Koru.
Yeah, he's more of a safety type though, right?
What? He's a linebacker.
They moved him to linebacker? Okay.
He was a beast yesterday. I mean, there was some plays that he tackled the running backs in the backfield. Like he was shot out of a cannon.
Yeah. I think from the linebacker position, let me put it like this. They need more splash. It's great that Myles Garrett can provide because he's Myles Garrett. They need a guy on that second level that's going to get you 12, 15 sacks and be a guy that the offense looks at and be like, oh, snap, how are we going to stop that guy?
Yeah.
The Browns haven't really had that guy in a long time, which is surprising considering that it's Cleveland.
Right.
You look at their history, but
the last guy that I can remember in Cleveland that was that what we're talking about, the linebacker would be Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
That's going back a long way.
Yeah. They got to find a guy. I think that's what that defense is missing. They got to find that guy. So
yeah, I kind of thought about that too. Because Cleveland's defense, they have playmakers up front, obviously, and even though Newsome looked like burnt toast, yesterday, I think Denzel Ward's a good corner. I think Greedy Williams is he still with the team? Is he still around, Greedy Williams, or is he gone?
No.
Okay, he's gone then. Okay, well, either way, I mean Denzel Ward, good corner. So I mean they got playmakers in the secondary, but I think that linebacking core, like Bryce is saying, somebody at the mic, in the middle, that's what you need. That's absolutely what you need. So I tend to agree with that. But at the same time, Obi brought up too, Bryce, you take Amari Cooper away from whoever's playing quarterback, and there's no other option. I mean, you can go to Njoku so much before he starts getting blanketed. So, I'd say a second receiver, a playmaker is probably something that they also need.
Yeah.
Hey, I've already said if I was Jerry Jones, I'd say, hey, you want Michael Gallup, you can have him because we can't use him.
Just give him away. But,
yeah, right. Hey, by the way, I'm not sure where Sonny is, but Bryce, there was a question that he's wanted to ask you, and that was, what's your thoughts about the rumors of Mike Tomlin saying I'm done?
I don't think he's done, but I think there's a little bit to that of him deciding after 17 years, do I want to, where's my energy level? Do I want to take time for my family? His daughter goes to Georgia, gymnast. Do I want to spend more time with the kids and all that? So I can see that a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, he gets an extension, which they're going to extend him. And he goes, now, if something miraculous were to happen and they were to really go on a run and do something special in this season, I think he could go. Because then it's like, I did it with Mason Rudolph. I have nothing else to prove, and I'm going to walk away and whatever. I mean, I'm just saying.
Now, let's say he decides to walk away. We've all kind of talked about it earlier in the show. who the possible replacement would be. Who do you think would be the best replacement for him?
I know who they should have on speed dial. But go ahead, Bryce. I want to hear it from you.
Normally, they go with a younger, up-and-coming defensive assistant, a coordinator type. It's 2024, so it could be an offensive coordinator type as long as that guy came into the meeting room and laid out his plan for the team, not just his the play call. So I don't know. I mean, you could have conversations with Ben Johnson. I think Slowick, if he wants to be a head coach from Houston, he would get a conversation. Young coordinator on the rise. I think Mike Vrabel would get an interview. I think they would talk to him. But yeah, we'll see.
Hey Bryce, can you repeat the last thing you just said, just so we can hear it?
Yeah, so I can hear. What'd you say?
I said I think Slowick from Houston, the offensive coordinator, would get a look. Young coordinator, not defensive, but a young coordinator on the offensive side. Since the rules have changed in 2024, it favors offense. I think Ben Johnson could get a look and get an interview, and I think Mike Vrabel could get an interview.
That's the man. I'm telling you. That is the man. That is Pittsburgh material.
Yeah, I can see that, and I wouldn't be mad at that. My thing is, if there is a head coaching change, I want a head coach that's going to sit back. First of all, I don't like my head coaches calling plays. I want my head coach to coach the whole team and fit in everywhere on that team where he needs to, particularly with a team like Pittsburgh that's just getting younger and younger and has shown that some of these young guys can have some lapses. You need to be on them a little bit more. So, yeah. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be a conversation because I think Mike Tomlin gets extended, comes back ready to go. He won't have to adjust and change his offense. They're going to tell him, you're getting a new offensive coordinator. It's going to be someone dynamic. We have a list of candidates. Let's interview these guys.
If they do that, I think they should go after Slowick.
For offensive coordinator?
Yeah, isn't he an offensive coordinator, Slowick?
For the Texans, but he ain't leaving. Well, he wouldn't leave. I think if he wants to be a head coach, Obi, that's one thing. But offensive coordinator, there's no reason for him to leave. He's got a young guy that's looking like he could be a top 5 quarterback. And he's got a great. If he gets along with his head coach, which I'm sure he does, who brought him there, he's feeling, we can win championships. Sonny's not on, especially in this division. Where there's another team in Florida.
Are we not putting
Yeah.
Are we not putting any value in the idea that Jim Harbaugh could be a candidate? Are we not putting any value in the fact that Jim Harbaugh could be a candidate?
I don't think he would do well.
I don't know if he'd do well there either.
No,
I don't think he'd do well with the Commanders either, though, because I think that. All right.
Jim Harbaugh has to be somebody that goes and has total control. You make him he's one of these types that you have to make him the GM and the coach. He gets to pick the players. He's gonna, I think so. I think because he doesn't work. The less people he has to work with, I think the better.
Because the guy's an idiot.
But Sonny has fallen off because I was gonna talk to him about his Jaguars. That look, let's give Sonny. I know we don't like to do it. Let's give Sonny some credit here. He kind of called this, and if you look after they disrespected the towel in Week 9, 3-6. I expected the Jaguars to show up and play better than that. I was picking the Titans because of my heart. It ended up being right. There's no way that Jaguars should have lost that football game. They came out and just got punched in the mouth, and
they did.
They looked fun.
They looked ugly last year.
Yeah, that's a bad loss by Doug Peterson. He's won a Super Bowl, and they've got to figure that out. There's some people already have. The defensive coaches have lost their jobs. People have to lose their jobs over that.
Yeah.
That was
it's just like in Chicago. I mean, the whole offensive staff got fired. You know, everybody from Lou Getsy down, except for the O-line coach, which I thought was interesting. That they retained the O-line coach and they got rid of everybody else on the offensive side. So, I'm looking forward to seeing who the Bears pick up. I know who I like, but that doesn't mean they're going to do what I like. So, But yeah, it's got to be. To me, I think it's got to be an absolute home run hit, and it's going to be a guy up and coming. I don't think they're going to go for a retread. I keep hearing Greg Roman. Bears are not going to go hire Greg Roman. I'm sorry. That's just not how the Bears are operating right now. They want young up and coming. That's what they're about right now. So
two things. One, in this group, this show, that being said, I don't want anyone to say that I can't give credit where credit is due. Let me give credit to Sonny Clark, because he did call that he has wavered on his quarterback, and on this day today, I gotta say, his quarterback did not show up like he said they would. We got on him saying he needed to be drug tested last week because of Kirk Cousins, and I still agree with that, but I don't have a good argument today or last week after that game, because let's give credit, he was right. His quarterback. Now, I think he's beat up. I think he's injured. But at the same time, if I look at the results, I have to give Sonny Clark, and I can't believe I'm doing this, I have to give him a little bit of credit. He knows his team, and his quarterback didn't show up. And that was a bad loss.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sonny, you're muted.
You're on mute, Sonny.
The way the Podfather wants it, but no, he is consistently inconsistent, is what I was saying, and that's what it does boil down to, and so much so that, and again, not for the future, but for that game last Sunday, I wanted Kirk Cousins, So obviously hindsight's 2020, but at the same time, you don't know if Kirk Cousins would have done, just exactly what Trevor Lawrence did on last Sunday. So, but not making the playoffs. By the way, especially and I are the only teams. Go ahead.
Well, especially Kirk Cousins. According to Kirk Cousins, under those circumstances, because he's actually still hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an injury. I was just saying I would like Kirk Cousins, and obviously not with them being hurt, but what Kirk Cousins could do or could not do with it. But the Jaguars, outside of even Trevor Lawrence, there's a lot of work that the Jaguars got to do going into next season. And I'm telling you right now, if they don't address that offensive line, Trevor Lawrence is going to be consistently inconsistent. And I don't care who's available. I want the Jaguars to take the best offensive lineman in that with that pick, and I don't care what number they end up at. Get that offensive lineman stud, get a couple of free agents that can still play and help that offensive line. They'll have an opportunity, because hey, the Texans are no slouch. We just saw that yesterday. They're no slouch, and they're going to have to battle for that division. Never mind if Indianapolis decides to get better or not. I don't know. So there's a lot of other things that the Jaguars got to do.
In the second half of the season, the Houston Texans have changed the whole trajectory moving forward of the AFC South. Like the Jaguars now can't look at themselves as, we got Lawrence and Peterson. You have to draft and look at how are we going to stop that dude and this coaching staff in Houston, because they snuck up on us and took the division from us.
Absolutely.
They don't look like they're going to slow down. We better be able to run the football better, keep this guy on the sideline, and then, like Parcells says, high draft picks. You want a quarterback, someone that protects him, or someone that gets after him. And so
absolutely.
Someone that protects him, can get after it, run block and control the game, then you better draft someone that can get after that quarterback in Houston. Because if you don't get after him, then you're going to see him twice a week, twice a year. He's going to be giving y'all problems. The division is no longer the Jaguars for the taking anymore.
And they can't put it on the shoulder of Jared Allen on the defensive side of the ball either. They've got to be able to find some other guy that can actually take a couple of shots, like you said, at the quarterback, especially if you're going to be looking at him twice a year. That's going to be. It's not like you're going to have the Tennessee Titans. I mean, who are right now in the complete and utter disarray right now. Obviously, firing the coach, get rid of that. No Derrick Henry. What is the direction of that football team? All you got is a wide receiver who just went for the money, not for the championship. And guess what? He's not in any better situation than he was in Arizona. So, you got that going upon as far as that is concerned. Thank you, by the way, for taking control of the show. Had to run the puppy out. It's about 13 degrees.
Real quick, I did tell you, history shows the Tennessee Titans like to take a piece of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Absolutely. And they did it. And not only that, embarrassed them too. I mean, because, everybody, as far as the experts were concerned, they were on the Jaguars, and the Texans bitch slapped them. That's what happened here. This was and that, I think I even said it. When you play in a team that has nothing to lose, you're in trouble, because you'll never know what they'll pull out, out the side of their ass, to take at you that you're not expecting. And that happened as well, too. There were some plays that you're like, holy crap, I can't believe that. And that's what ended up happening. So, by the way, again, thanks for taking over. Are you out of here, OB?
I got to go. Sorry, guys.
Got to go do some more chores and take care of that.
Yeah, I got to go. Cowboys win today. The Lions win today. The Steelers, unfortunately, will fall tomorrow in Buffalo. And then what's the other? Oh, and Tampa Bay will win tomorrow.
Ooh.
Interesting pick.
That's all I got.
And I'm going to tell you one more thing. If the Cowboys lose today, heads will be rolling.
Oh my Lord. We're going to get
okay. Now, before you go, I said be ready for your Super Bowl prediction. Who do you have?
Right now,
I'm
going to have to say San Francisco, and I am going to say Buffalo.
San Francisco and Buffalo. Very good. All right. So always good to see you, my friend. Check you out. You got you. We'll check it out. That is Obi-Wan. And he stole my thunder. He actually stole my thunder. I am not going Baltimore in the AFC. I'm actually going Buffalo as well. He stole my thunder because I think Buffalo right now, it's the big Mo, right? Cuervo, we talk about momentum, especially in the playoffs. They're rolling into the playoffs. They're going to be playing in their kind of weather today against the Pittsburgh Steelers and all. By the way, since I was gone, did you talk that game today or no?
Not yet, because I had after my Jacksonville point, I had the second thing I wanted to ask Sonny, if that's okay. I don't know if you talked about it. I want to hear what the fine co-host of this show has to say about Eberflus coming back. I want to know.
Well, we kind of talked about that. I mean, Cuervo had his minute or two or three about the state of the Chicago Bears. Has that changed, Cuervo? I mean, about the state of the Chicago Bears.
Should we strap in? Did you guys have to strap in?
No, that was last week when, according to the Podfather, I repeated myself. No, you know what? I'm okay with it. And the reason I'm okay with it, I'm not excited, but I'm not pissed off either. I'm just like, all right, fine. Because, sometimes your instant reaction isn't always a clear thought. You know what I mean? When we instantly react, sometimes it's not very an educated opinion, right? So sometimes you got to take a step back and really think about things. So when I think about Matt Eberflus coming back, number one, I trust my GM Ryan Poles. I think he's moved heaven and earth to get the Bears in a much better situation, where the roster can be a powerhouse roster. It's not there yet. All right, before Sonny goes on a tangent and starts giving me Joe and all this other stuff. All right, it's not there yet. But I think they're in position to do it with the cap space, with the guys that are already there, with the draft capital that the Bears have. It can get there. The other part that I trust them with, all right, hey, you know what? Cool. If you think Eberflus is the right guy to continue to lead this 53-man roster, okay, good. Cool. Sounds good to me. I think the Bears firing the entire offensive coaching staff is exactly what needed to happen at a minimum. And that's exactly what they did. I didn't expect all the position, quarterback and receiver coach to go, but I'm kind of glad it did, because I think you just have to clean the entire slate, kind of like what Jacksonville's doing on the defensive side, where everybody, they let everybody go on the defensive side. So,
which was the mistake. It wasn't the offense, totally on the offense, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, I think that the little bit that you see behind closed doors, as far as the players and how they respond to Eberflus, tells me that they respect him, they want to play for him, and as a fan, just like people are going to say what they want about Mike Tomlin, Bryce, but as a Steeler fan, deep down, as long as those guys continue to respect Tomlin and play hard for him, then there's nothing wrong with him continuing as the head coach. Once that stops happening, and once he loses the room, that's when it's time to move on. And I think that's why you saw Josh McDaniels get fired. That's why you saw and by the way, they better do everything they can to make sure Antonio Pierce does not leave. I'm going to tell you that right now, because Max Crosby is already screaming trade if they don't retain Pierce. And that's not me saying, well, just do what the players want. The players run the asylum. But I think you really have to think about that. It's like, why is he saying those things? They really love playing for Pierce. So I think they need to really think about keeping him with the Raiders as their head coach.
Think about that, Cuervo. When you say that, okay, it's Max Crosby. It's not the kicker. So exactly, there's a little relevance behind the person who's saying it as well. So I get it.
Yeah, it's their stud defense. That's like T.J. Watt saying, "Well, you know what? If you let Mike Tomlin walk out this door, trade me." Steeler fans would go nuts. Tell me I'm wrong, Bryce. Tell me I'm wrong. They'd go nuts. But But the point is, Eberflus is a guy that these guys like playing for. They got all the respect for him, and that is important. That's extremely important. Now, that being said, moving forward offensively, obviously they need to nail the OC hiring, and I think who they hire is going to kind of tip their hand to whether they're going to keep Justin Fields or whether they're going to trade him. So that remains to be seen. But to answer your question, Bryce, I'm good with it. I'm not doing backflips, but I'm also not, breaking TVs either. So I'm good with it, because that's what a head coach is. It's not, you can't always blame the head coach for failures in a team. It's easy to do that. That's the easy thing to do, is just blame the head coach. Well, you really got to look at where the Bears went wrong, and it was on offense. I mean, DJ Moore even said it. He goes, I'd like to see us be a team that's explosive and not play behind the sticks. That's a powerful thing to say. And so that's why you saw Lou Getsy get his walking papers pretty fast. Mm-hmm. So
makes sense.
Yeah. And by the way, I think that your guy, the GM, might be okay with who he has, but if he is seriously still not looking at guys who might be available, like a Vrabel or whoever, I think he's dropping the ball. You can have your guy, but if there is a guy that can become available for the Chicago Bears, I'm not saying they should fire their head coach, but if there is a guy that becomes available, then you almost have to. And I think if Vrabel would be, oh my God, could you imagine Vrabel on that football team?
It's not going to happen.
Sonny, you're missing the point. And the point is, the offensive coordinator position is open. The Bears should get on the phone right now and call Eric Bieniemy and say, come run this offense. He should be their top choice. They should sign him today and get him working with Justin Fields. That is what they should do.
I get the idea and why you would like to do that.
CUERVO is he wants all of his head coaches must call the plays in order for them to be the head coach. Okay, he doesn't want any coaches that don't call their plays. Okay, so there's that. But that doesn't mean you can't be the offensive coordinator. And I think
he doesn't want him.
I think
CUERVO does not want any part of Eric Bieniemy.
CUERVO, are you going to get on this show and say you wouldn't want Eric Bieniemy to be your offensive coordinator for Justin?
Offensive coordinator, I'm okay with. Head coach, I'm not okay with.
Okay.
I just don't think he's head coach material. What I mean by that is he a guy that can lead a full room of 53 players on the roster? I don't think he is that. There's mixed things out there that people have opinions of Bieniemy, but that doesn't take away his knowledge and his intelligence as an OC. So I'd be okay with them hiring him as the OC because I think he's
not even the top candidate for the Commander's job, and he was there last year. He's not even a candidate for everything I'm reading.
That's because they're cleaning house. CUERVO knows I don't agree with him on this Bieniemy take, but I understand he didn't want any coaches that didn't call the plays. I don't agree with that, but at least I can respect that consistency.
So, and now I don't know how long we got you more for Bryce, but let's get to the game. You got the Buffalo Bills going in playing, and by the way, the weather is not an advantage for either one of these teams. I mean, just say whatever you want. Pittsburgh plays in nasty crap, so this is not going to be anything that they're not used to per se as a team. Now, certain players might not be used to it, and things of that sort. Same thing with Buffalo. You got guys, they played in that. It's a little different. If you want to say there's an advantage for Buffalo in this game, I think you could probably say that. That being said, looking at this game, what are the not one, not two, but three? The three aspects of today's game that you got to look out, or tomorrow's game, for the Steelers to get the victory against the Buffalo Bills.
Wait, who are they playing, Bryce? Who are the Steelers playing?
I'm not ready. I got a day to think.
Buffalo Bills.
I got a day to think about it. I got a day to think about it.
You do have a day.
I'm going to give you the three keys in stone. Okay, I'm not going to give it to you. This is an interesting game because, for all of the bluster and for all of the storylines with the Buffalo Bills, they really only finished one game ahead of Pittsburgh when it comes to the record. So I think this game might be a little closer than people think, even without TJ Watt. Here's why I say that. Number one, you got Nick Herbig, the rookie, who, when he does play on the outside, makes a lot of plays. Good player. And you got Marcus Golden, who has 4 sacks in limited production in limited time because the starters play so much, but that's a veteran guy who's played a lot of football. Pittsburgh is more equipped. I'm not going to say they're going to actually do it, but they're more equipped to handle the loss of TJ Watt, number one. Number two, they do get Minka Fitzpatrick back, healthy, no cast on his hand, knee ready to go. They get DeMonte KZ back. They get Trent Thompson back. They get a lot of different players at safety that they can move around and use to try to confuse and get favorable matchups on defense. On offense, this is the best the offense has looked with Mason Rudolph as the quarterback. This is the best it's looked in 2 years. The offense is still flawed. They're going to get rid of it. Personally, I would take Bieniemy in a heartbeat to run our offense. I think if Mike Tomlin, once he gets extended, he needs to get on the phone and say, Eric, come run this offense. So I would love to see that. But I think the offense, like Sonny said a couple weeks ago, Najee Harris doesn't fumble. Bell cow, they're getting it to him. Jalen Warren, nice change of pace. They're going to test that Buffalo front seven. I think they're going to run I think they're going to mug the double A gap a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of 4-4, which will bring it down to Faulkner and Sullivan as the offensive brain trust now. Have to call better plays, more play action on first down to keep these guys honest. If Pittsburgh can take the throws that are there, they can be physical like they've been doing, run the football with Broderick Jones at right tackle, I think they could have a really, really good chance of pulling off a major upset.
So that's one. What's the other ones?
There were a lot of keys in there, Sonny. I'm not ready to give them to you quite yet. You know, I need another day. I need another day to think on it. But that's just my general overview of the game. I mean, look, if the defense comes out and they play consistent, the key is you got to force Josh Allen into 2 or more turnovers. And if they can stop James Cook, which we'll see if they can, then there's going to be some opportunities there. And we'll see if Pittsburgh can take advantage of
it. Interestingly enough, when I'm looking at the game, I hate this game. And I'll say it again, like I said, I wish this game was not being played there. I'd love to see these two straight up, because say whatever you want about the Steelers, okay? Obviously, they're not as good as they've been, and you know, Bryce isn't going to be sitting here saying they're the next best thing that come along since fruit punch. But I still would like to see this game without any excuses, just so we can really see what we're going to see from Buffalo. Now, Buffalo is going to take advantage of what they do the best in that weather. They do have that little advantage, but here's one of the things that I'm seeing on the whole thing. They're pretty good against run, but that hasn't stopped them from attempting, how about 22.7 running back rushes with 10 running backs getting at least 16 carries. Now, that's obviously what we're going to see today. We're going to see a running game from both of those teams. And I think the Steelers, now I'm not going to go on the stretch, but this is almost a trap game for Buffalo, because if they do get Najee Harris going, if they do figure out a way to have success with this guy running the football and maybe even squirt them out on with a couple of screen passes, this could get ugly. But one thing that I was seeing, and I'll throw this over to Trey, I see the Buffalo defense, they're just taking that belt and they're just tightening it. They're playing really good defense right now, Trey.
I'm still trying to get over the idea you call this a trap game. It's a playoff game. Of course, every game's a trap
game. Do you know what the evidently you don't know what the definition of a trap game is. So you can go ahead and continue on, but go ahead.
I mean, every game. I mean, these are all make or break games here. I mean, they're all trap games. I mean, that's all I get. Okay, look. Here's the thing. It's gonna if the ball gets thrown more than 10 times in this game, I'll be impressed, because this is not a game you throw the ball in. This is a game you flat out run the ball the entire game, and it's gonna be who cannot fall on the ice and snow and hurt themselves. I don't have a good feeling for the Steelers for this. But I got the same less involvement with the Bills, because it's the same elements, right? I mean, it snows like hell up in Pittsburgh too. I'm gonna go Bills on this, and only because I keep hearing the comparisons of the quarterback for the Bills and Brett Favre, and I don't like that because I hate Brett Favre, but I keep hearing those, and they're so true. He does turn the ball over a lot, but he's also very competitive when he gets down there, and he can also do some crazy things with the ball. How he does it in the snow, I have no idea. Once again, I don't know what the difference between playing the game today or tomorrow would be, because conditions will probably still be the same. But whether or not we're in a state of emergency tomorrow or not, I have no idea. But, I don't trust Rudolph more than I trust the quarterback for the Bills, but I trust Tomlin more than I trust the Bills coach. So I mean, it's either or, really. Sorry, this chair's I've had this chair for like 15 years. It's very uncomfortable. Yeah, guys, give me the Bills. I'm gonna go on a limb and go the Bills home field advantage, if that's even really a thing or not.
Cuervo, what's your take up on it? I mean, we got the weather conditions that are happening in Buffalo. We kind of know what we're going to expect in this game. It's going to be a running game. And the Buffalo Bills the running game is not a slouch at all. You know, I'm obviously putting up the Najee stuff because I got this kind of ready for Bryce so he could take a look at it. But I'll tell you, the Buffalo Bills, if it's not their running back, they got a running quarterback as well, which I think that also gives them a little bit of an advantage in this one. What do you think, Cuervo?
Bryce, you said TJ Watt is not playing?
Yes, he's on IR, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's not on IR.
Oh, okay.
He caught friendly fire and sprained his knee.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, that definitely makes a huge difference. I don't know. Is it going to be a running game, though? I understand, you know, there's like 9 feet of snow in Buffalo and all that stuff. But is it supposed to snow again or snow more up there during the game or the day of the game time? Like, the only reason I'm asking is because if it's not, then it doesn't necessarily have to be a running game for both teams. There'll be opportunities to put the ball in the air as long as it's not actively snowing. Maybe the wind, if it's going to be windy, that could obviously factor. But if it's not snowing, then you could see these teams trying to air it out a little bit. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't focus so much on, you know, James Cook and Jalen Warren, and that's it for these teams. Like there's a lot more to it than that. You know, and you can use short game. You know, who's gonna run more screens? Who's gonna run more short passes? You know, who's gonna run more routes? You know, little 5 and ins to their tight end, or who's gonna, you know. Sometimes you do have to simplify it, but I'm going to be interested to see come kickoff. What is it looking like weather-wise?
Right.
Is it windy? Is it snowing? That'll tell me, okay, what kind of game plan these teams are going to have. Are they just going to operate as normal, like Buffalo does, with, you know, the way they operate? You know, is Pittsburgh going to do the same? So I don't know. I can't say for sure how these teams are going to attack this game. But what I do know is that if Pittsburgh wants to win this game, they're going to have to find ways to get pressure on Josh Allen. And I think something that we haven't brought up yet that's going to be big for this in favor of the Steelers is that Gabe Davis will not be playing in this game. So you got Stephon Diggs, and then you got, I don't know, Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. Like, who's Buffalo going to go to without Gabe Davis in the lineup? That's a huge loss for Buffalo. So where do they go from there? What is option number 2? And you know, I'm pretty sure they're going to stick Pat Pete on Stephon Diggs with a little help from Minka or whoever. So that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem for Buffalo. And then you factor in, well, Josh Allen, I mean, he bakes turnovers by the dozen. So I'm not saying Pittsburgh's going to win, but like Bryce said, I think this game is going to be really, really, really close. It's going to be a lot closer than we think. So that's the part I'm going to be looking at is if they take away Stephon Diggs from Josh Allen, what does he do from there?
Yep. You got Hines, running back. He's out for the game. Latavius Murray, the running back for the Buffalo Bills. He's out. Game day inactive. So that's, you know, so you got 2 of guys that could come in and out in the running game for Buffalo, not in the game today. So you got to look out for that as well, which puts it to the point where who's going to run the football? I think we're going to see a lot of Josh Allen today. We might see the drop-offs of I don't think we're, he's going to throw the ball. Let's make no mistake. He's going to throw the football, but I think we're also going to see him in the legs portion of this one. But here's one of the things I worry about. And if somehow Pittsburgh can win this game, the best thing to happen to TJ Watts is if he doesn't play in this kind of nasty weather. When you have injuries like this, I don't know if Bryce believes this or not, when you got injuries to key players, playing in this nasty crap is the worst thing for him because it makes it easier to re-aggravate it, more so than playing in normal conditions. So if they could actually sneak by Buffalo in this game, they'll be ready to go. They get TJ another opportunity to get healthy, and maybe the weather conditions will be better for their next opponent if they can get the victory. So it's one of those things that I'm looking at as far. But I'm going to go Buffalo in this game as well. What bothers me is the two more running backs that are completely out for Buffalo. That really kind of, but I trust more when I look at it.
They have James Cook and Leonard Fournette. Playoff Lenny.
Yes.
Leonard Fournette is no slouch.
Yes. Well, okay. If you want to say that, that's fine. I'm not a big believer in Leonard Fournette, but in this type of game, he might be able to on a regular basis. Leonard Fournette. Listen, he's good. I'm not going to say I'm so tired of everybody, by the way, getting the title of great. When they haven't proved jack squat like CJ Stroud has. Okay. All right. CJ Stroud is great. Okay. But some other guys who get the, accolades of being great, you do it. What's the look for, Bryce? What's that look all about? You don't think that
CJ Stroud is playing phenomenal? No one's saying he's great. He hasn't won anything.
He's great. Listen. Did you watch the game? Did you watch the game yesterday?
Yes. He hasn't.
He was great. And by the way, he is. If you're gonna lay a title on guys that maybe, if you quote unquote don't deserve it, CJ Stroud is the only one that deserves it compared to some of the other guys that have been getting the great tout, and that bothers me.
It depends on how you use it.
This is like a manufactured gimmick right here.
No. Okay. Who would you? Okay, so let's do this.
This is a Vince Man project right here.
Hold on. Who would you rather have right now, CJ Stroud or Justin Fields?
Cuervo, you can go first. It's your quarterback.
Are you saying? Oh man, I don't.
The answer is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
the answer is Kirk Cousins.
The answer.
Every time, no change.
So who would you right now, Cuervo? Who would you rather have, CJ Stroud or Justin Fields? For your future.
In Chicago,
CJ Stroud or Justin Fields?
Well, you're asking me to be unloyal to my quarterback. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing it.
Now, I said Kirk Cousins. You can't make a stretch and say CJ Stroud.
By the way, you want to talk about being tired of hearing about something? I'm so over the Bears passed on Patrick Mahomes. The Bears passed on CJ Stroud.
I am too.
But guess
what? It's true.
Those guys would not be anywhere near successful in Chicago like they are for the team that they're playing for right now.
I fully agree because they're different organizations with different priorities. You are right about that.
Stop with the nonsense.
But maybe they win more than 3 games this season.
I don't know if I agree with that, Cuervo.
Maybe they win more 3 games and make the playoffs. Hell, who knows?
Cuervo, we can't fall for the Sonny Clark okie doke. Sonny Clark is trying to make a case for great.
Don't do it.
That's right. Greatness.
Listen, right now, if I'm starting my franchise, I would take CJ Stroud over Justin Fields right now. But what does that have to do with greatness?
Time out.
What does that have? Go ahead.
Oh,
Go
yeah,
ahead, Papa.
Hold on a second. Didn't you just say earlier that CJ Stroud is crap because he's a rookie? Now all of a sudden he's great.
Wait.
Make up your mind.
Whoa.
Make up your mind.
So
Which one is he great or is he crap?
Here, see, this is selective hearing right here. This one here is selective hearing. He's worse than me. He's worse than me. You know, this guy right here. I said I don't like any rookie quarterbacks. Okay, regardless of who it is, even knowing just in general,
because he's a rookie.
Okay. All rookies are crap, okay? Until they prove me. See, this is the part he forgets. Until they prove me differently. I'm telling you, every rookie quarterback, I don't give a shit who they are.
You differently all year.
No, he hasn't. He's only been proving me differently for the last 4 weeks of this season. Okay, and now that also being said against AFC South opponents, okay, which obviously are not. But I'm telling you right now, that performance yesterday, puts CJ Stroud more apt to wear the great hat than Pickett, which he never said he's great, but. Fields, your guys that we're touting as great, that are newbies that haven't played this game and don't know the speed for this game.
So who are these people that we're touting as great? No one has been touting the greatness of people. We were talking about Leonard Fournette. They're saying, hey, you can get it done. And then you started talking about, I'm sick of hearing people call people great. Where did that come from?
Okay, well, I thought I heard an inkling that someone might say that he's great.
That was great.
Okay.
That's about it.
But by the way, okay, Leonard Fournette is a body. I don't think he's all that great. I don't think he's all that great. Well, the proof is in the pudding. Look where he did in Jacksonville. I'm telling you, the proof is in the pudding.
And there it is, Cuervo. And there
That's
it is.
what I'm saying. Because of your comment about Leonard Fournette, he's no slouch. That was your words. He's no slouch. Doesn't sound anything like great, but
former Jaguars. So we gotta take a dump on him.
It's Sonny. It's Sonny, guys.
No, there's some.
If you're not a slouch,
hey, wait a second.
If you're okay,
exactly.
Well, some people put the greatness on these rookie quarterbacks, or even second or third year quarterbacks. Bryce, I'm telling you right now, and one of them is Justin Fields. Everybody, he's so great. He can run the football. He can do this. He can do that. No, he sucks. He's not great. He's not good.
Nobody's calling him great.
Okay, good. Maybe I'm hearing from too many Bear fans that he is great, and that's right. No, so he's not.
Listen, hey. Go ahead, Cuervo. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is, it's not that people, not Bears fans, think that Fields. Which, by the way, it's a divided community right now in Chicago Bear land, fan land, whatever how you want to say it, because you're either 100% for Justin Fields or you're 100% against Justin Fields. Nobody's like, hey, what's best for the team? I just want to see the Bears win. No, they want their guy. It's driving me nuts. I need to just stay off social media for a little while, but to me,
hey, Jeremy, good to see you.
I don't care if it's Fields. I don't care if it's Caleb Williams, Drake May. Hell, ask Jim McMahon to come back. I don't care who the quarterback is for the Bears, as long as he is the best option for the Bears to get back to the Super Bowl. That's what I care about. I don't care who it is. If he's going to be the best guy to get us there, same thing with the offensive coordinator, Bryce, just to kind of clear that up. If Eric Bieniemy, if Ryan Poles and Eberflus feel like Eric Bieniemy is the best offensive coordinator to get that offense going with what they have now and what they're going to add, then I'm all for it, because I just want to see the Bears win. That's all I care about. So back to the original point.
Here as Go ahead. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I'm sorry. I apologize, champ, for interrupting you.
There's like a, by the way, there's like a 2-second delay, so we're all on it.
Yeah.
Fields or Stroud, man. I mean, like I said, I can't go against Fields, but I like what I see from Stroud. I mean, he played a great game yesterday. That's as far as it goes when it comes to CJ Stroud and great. He played a great game. He did.
He's going to be the one to break the mold as far as rookie quarterbacks are concerned, I think. He's the only one that has showed that he can maybe wear that great hat in reality as a rookie. So out of all the rookies that we're taking, all of the ones that are in there, he's standing head above all of them out there. And let's just be honest, he's even above some of the second and third year quarterbacks based upon the way he's being coached. I'm telling you right now, that dude down there, he's being coached, and you gotta love that. And he's picking up on the speed of the NFL far better than most rookie quarterbacks have. Now, did it take him some games? Of course it did. Did it take some injury? Yes. But I'm gonna say this. With him getting hurt might have been the best thing in the world because he got more time in film, got to see some of the things that were going on as far as who he was playing, especially in the AFC South, to get the win. Because like you guys always say, I don't always believe it, but in reality, when you win your division, that's hands down the great. I want to win games. Yes, in the division when they come, but you got, like you guys say, you got to win those games within your division. Go ahead, Pod.
Let me just go on record and say that I don't think Dak Prescott is great. Just thought I'd throw it out there. In case it gets thrown out there to the masses that people think that.
By the way, is he having a great year?
He's doing great. He's doing good. He's doing really good this year. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, does he win the next 2 games? We'll have to wait and see. Hope he does. But then again,
will it change your opinion?
Once he's just going to fill it. It would depend what the defense does. If the defense is holding fourth and keeping the other team away from scoring as much, that's one thing. If Dak Prescott has the ball and is not driving the ball to the end zone to score, that's on Dak. Mm-hmm. If the defense is giving up touchdown to touchdown, Dak does not play defense. I'm sorry. So if it's a shootout between both quarterbacks, and it's just who's the last one standing, that's not on Dak because you can only do so much from your point of view on with the ball. Now, that would fall under Mike McCarthy as far as the defense part, and that would also fall under, is Dan Quinn really that great to be going to all these damn interviews right now because he's the one whose defense will drop the ball? I mean, they have to look at that too. So I mean, he's being interviewed by just about everybody right now, and let's face it.
Go ahead.
Can I finish my point? Sorry.
I just throwing. That's a good point. I was
going to say, shh, quiet. But no, look, if thing is this, Dan Quinn is a great coach. Yeah, that's fine. You can flip me off all you want. I don't care. But anyway, look, he's a great kid. He's a great coach, but if his defense is letting what happened with the Detroit Lions happen all game long, that's going to be a problem. And once again, is he really the great coach that we want him to be our next head coach in the NFL? Or is he going to sit there and go, I'm better off in Dallas? There's that. And then, of course, we all tell how great he is because of the great players we have on defense, but has this system really made the difference? I mean, yeah, we've had worse coaches on coach defense before, but is it really him or is it the players? See, we'll not know until it happens. I mean, again, I don't know what makes a player not want to show up for a big game. Okay?
Yeah.
But we saw it yesterday. With Cleveland. Their defense didn't show up. So it just is what it is. And once again, I think home field will have a lot to do with it. I think home field has, which I didn't think about that at the beginning of the year because I thought Dallas's home field was kind of hit or miss because You see 100,000 some people in your stadium. Half the crowd's going for your team, the other half is going for the other team. So where's home field advantage? But you know,
more this year.
It's a different year this year. More this year than anything else. So let's see what happens. You know, and but going back to Dak Prescott, I'll never call him great until I see great things from him.
Exactly.
You know? I love
that. That's a great way of saying that.
Listen, I saw great things from Troy Aikman, and you can replay all the great things he did as a Cowboys quarterback. He was great, and he had a lot of great players around him. But that's what made the team great. You know, I mean, it was a total team effort. You know, Tony Romo, to an extent, had his moments of greatness, but he had a lot of failures. So how do you measure that off? Well, he was just good. The guy behind me, the guy where direction I'm pointing, he was good. He was my favorite.
Anyway,
but he was good. Yeah, he did some early great things after Staubach retired, but then he came across a really bad Dallas team that just could not drive the ball down the field. And you had a lot of hits and misses back in the day, and you had the strike season and everything else that put a damper on them. And hey, look, good and great are two different things. Yeah. I think the Bears quarterback right now can be good. He can be really good right now. He needs to get the right person to coach him though. And once he has that person, whether it's the enemy or somebody else, I think. And once again, we talked earlier season. Well, would he do better in Seattle? Well, now Pete Carroll's gone. I know you're not a big Pete Carroll fan, but we all did agree that Pete Carroll could do wonders with a guy like him. But that's gone. Yeah. So
and they're probably going to lose their OC as well. Shane. Oh God, what's his name? The Seattle offensive coordinator. He's probably going to get a job somewhere else too.
Well, I think they're cleaning house in Seattle. I think they're starting it all over. I think.
Waldron. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, they definitely are. I'm glad you brought that up, Podfather, because I think you look at a situation like the Bears, and then you look at a situation like Houston, and that right there is proof of what a difference a offensive coordinator can make. Look,
absolutely.
And listen, this is not a shot at DeMeco Ryans or saying that he's not the reason that the Texans are having the success they're having. I think DeMeco Ryans should be coach of the year, but is he going to win it? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to win. But Bobby Slowick is the real reason that this team is firing on the cylinders that they're firing on. You think about where that team was last year. I mean, they were one loss away from having the number one pick, and then Lovie Smith said, "You know what? Let me pay homage to my days in Chicago. We're going to go win this game." And they went and they won that game, and they got the number 2 pick. So, and then the other thing they were thankful for was that the owner of the Carolina Panthers doesn't know anything about football and made the team draft Bryce Young. So, so those things fell into place. But you think about where they were last year. So now they're going to the divisional playoffs. Okay, Slowick, C.J. Stroud made all the and it's like you don't need all-star wide receiving core to get somewhere in this league. You need a competent OC with a competent playmaking quarterback, and you will get somewhere in this league. Again, Nico Collins, you might know him, Sonny, from Michigan, but
I do.
Tank Dell was a third round.
If you're a regular football fan, you don't necessarily know who he is in reality. You're right.
Right. Tank Dell was a third round pick. Noah Brown, the Podfather, probably remembers him from his days in Dallas. So
yes, he does.
Those guys are not all pro dudes.
Very hit and miss. Very hit and miss with Dallas.
Right. And that's why he didn't stay in Dallas, because he was but now he found a good place that fits him well in Houston. Tank Dell fits well with that offense. That's why, there's so much, and I think I'm going to open up a can of worms here when I say there's so much emphasis on the head coach, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we fail to remember how important coordinators are. because they are the ones that orchestrate the defenses and offense. The head coach, he just oversees everything. He just manages it all. But your offensive and defensive coordinators are the guys that are really doing the work, are really putting in the work to make that team run. So again, no discredit to D'Amico, but you cannot forget about how important it is to have a home run hit for an offensive coordinator. That's why like the whole Fields or Caleb Williams, whatever. I'll worry about that when the time comes. I want the Bears to nail this offensive coordinator hire. And if they don't, then it's going to be the same thing next year, with or without Fields, Caleb, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, whoever it's going to be. It ain't going to matter because the OC is going to – he's not – if he's not the right guy, then –
Hey, you know what? I 100% agree, because I remember back in the 90s when Jimmy Johnson came over, he brought in David Shula, and Shula damn near killed Aikman. But then the next year he brings in Norv Turner. Norv Turner turned that entire offense around.
180, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's all about, you know, the biggest voice in the room, and I mean, and that can mean the entire difference. I mean, hell, even back then, Dave Wanstead, great defensive coordinator, not a great head coach, but a great defensive coordinator. You know,
that's
he
true.
can get after the ball, no problems asked. Have the right players to do it. You know, but
depending on on
football
paper,
coach, and all of a sudden, him and Norv Turner, not the greatest head coaches. So, yeah, definitely agree. Go ahead, son.
Now that being said, Bryce, how long do we got you for?
Till 12:30.
Oh, okay. So that's 15 minutes. So before we go, we got Obi's prediction, kind of got mine. What is your prediction when you're taking a look at the Super Bowl? I want to get that online, then we'll go to the next game. But who do you think is going to make it there?
So prediction and then a request. So my prediction, I know this is going to sound a little wild. I'm going to go KC.
Who are the Steelers playing?
Say it again.
Who are the Steelers going to play in the Super Bowl, Bryce?
No. As of today,
Dallas and Pittsburgh, part 4.
I reserve the right to change my mind, but since Sonny's put me on the spot, right now I'm going to go with Kansas City and San Francisco. I'm not going to bang against Mahomes. You saw what they did to Miami. Look, Miami's not a great team, but you started to see them throw these shorter routes, throw to the tight ends. You saw a more coordinated, kind of more organized offensive unit that knew where they wanted to go with the ball. In bad weather, they still and now they're playing behind their defense. They're running the ball more. They're going to be tough because they still got Patrick Mahomes that at any moment could go 18-19 for whatever, and he puts his receivers in efficient situations and they make enough plays to keep the chains moving, and now you got a dangerous team. So I'm going to go with KC coming out of here, and I'm going to go with San Francisco. And then my question is, have we heard from the Podfather about today's game?
Yeah. The Dallas game. Yeah. So we kind of covered. I don't think you were here when we were covering, or were you here? But I think everybody was on the Dallas side of it. So what's your take up on Dallas today?
Well, 2 things. One, my official pick. My heart wants to go with my Steelers, but I'm going to go with my head today. I think this is the final game of the season for Pittsburgh. For tomorrow, I think Buffalo does just enough to get the win. But boy, if Mike Tomlin pulls this off, I'm not ready to do my all chips all in on this one, just because of Matt Canada's offense is still around. And in the playoffs, teams take away and exploit weaknesses. And this
goes to Matt Canada, still there.
The system is so vanilla, and there's just not a lot of answers, and it's going to be difficult. But if they find a way to win this, you better tune in next week. And then for tonight, also, my heart is saying one thing. Podfather, I'm going to go with your Cowboys on this one, but let me tell you something. This game is shaky. Even at home, even as good as you've been at home, This game is shaky. You just watch C.J. Stroud come in there and play well. He was at home. Jordan Love quietly has played. CUERVO is going to slam his laptop when he hears this. The Packers may have found their next guy. That guy is playing. And I tell you what, your defense sometimes.
What?
Your defense can be one-dimensional. Get after the passer, create havoc. If you can't do that, and they start making some plays, this game could get really hairy for you, especially if you can't run the football. So we'll see.
Dallas may have lucked out though, because a lot of the Green Bay Packers offense, some of the linemen and stuff are hurt and are not playing. Yeah. I think that'll be an advantage for the defensive line. Doesn't mean it's going to be end all be all. It's gonna be up to someone like Micah Parsons getting Jordan Love's ear and show him, I'm going to be here all day. What you got?
Yeah.
But I've been saying that about him for the last couple of weeks, and he really hasn't shown a lot.
I agree with that.
You know, I mean, we know he's a force, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of Amari Cooper when Cooper was with the Cowboys. He's good for half the year, but then the other half you don't hear much about him. Now, don't get me wrong, he led the league in sacks, I believe, he did so in the NFC at least. He did his part. Yeah, and he's clearly the player that they think he is going to be. I just haven't heard enough to think that he is the next Lawrence Taylor or the next whatever you want to compare him to. And I think a game like this, a game where the national spotlight is on you, not that the Dallas Cowboys don't have the national spotlight on them every week, because they get Monday night games, they get Sunday night games, they get the Thanksgiving game, they get plenty of coverage already throughout the year, so there's no spotlight for them to have. But now you're in the playoffs and you're at home, and you know what's going against you right now is history. You got 27 years of doing absolutely nothing, so you know it's gonna take taking this young quarterback who at the beginning we all sat there and went, he ain't ready, and then all of a sudden we see him play a great, you know, granted with the exception of the Lions, and he actually beat the Lions twice this year, I think. You know, he had a really decent year, not a great all-pro Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers type year, but he had a serviceable year. And will serviceable years get enough to get past the Cowboys? I don't know. I mean, others have done worse with it, so it depends. I mean, it's up to Mike McCarthy to get this team ready. It's up to Dan Quinn to make sure he calls the right plays on defense, and it's also Dak Prescott to not make mistakes. If everything I just said goes the exact different way, Cowboys lose.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Can very well happen. I don't think it will, but they could very well. Shut up.
But up on top of
you need new clips, sir. You need new clips.
Hey, those clips were here before you were, so they're staying.
I know.
Anyway, so that being said, as far as the other games here, we got about 40 minutes. We still got a couple games to go through. So let's take a look.
Hey,
hold on.
Just talking about one thing I hate about this show is now every other podcast I do, which I do a lot, I now say that being said, and I was saying at the end.
I know. I was watching you this week on a total different, the one that you do with Presley. I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was great. Anyway, all right. So here's what we got here. We got Green Bay. Yes. So we got, but we went through the other ones. The LA Rams are taking on the Lions, and we talk about this all the time. Who's getting hot and who's doing what at what time? The Big Mo. Hey, if you think that the Lions are just going to roll all over the Rams, you're crazy, I'm saying, just mainly because of what the Rams have been doing to get to this point, to get to this game, and then you got all the stories around the game. the quarterback switch and everything else. Now they're playing, 30 years since we've seen the Lions, hit the home playoff game and things of that sort. So lots of other stories that are involved with this one. So Cuervo, I'm going to shoot this one over to you. You hear LA, you hear what they're talking about on the radio as far as what people are saying. Are people excited about the Rams maybe being able to win this game, or is everybody worried that we're going to see the Rams that we've seen, last year?
To be honest, I don't listen to too much LA radio, but what I do hear is I just think that people are a little surprised by the turnaround that the Rams made. They were able to get hot at the end of the season. Obviously, everyone's like overjoyed about how well Puka Nacua, the rookie receivers, played for them. And then of course you got those conspiracy guys. Oh, should they get rid of Cooper Kupp? Whatever. If they do, they do. But I just think that type of turnaround. Yeah, of course. I mean, they're excited about it, but they're also nervous because they got to play the Detroit Lions. I mean, is it going to be too much? Is he going to be overwhelmed by the situation going back to Detroit where he played most of his career, blah, blah, all that stuff, right? So those type of questions come up, and is it going to be too much for him, and all that? So, it's like the Rams, Ram country, the small community that it is, they're obviously excited they're in the playoffs, but they're also very nervous because Detroit's a damn good team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
interestingly enough, I fell a little bit for the Rams because of momentum. I mean, we've seen teams go into the playoffs with momentum and just have success and win games that they shouldn't, one being the Giants. I hate using that example, but that's a classic example, and I see the Rams on that same same road there, Bryce. So when you're looking at this one, I mean, obviously all the stories and everything else, but take away all that, what you're seeing out on the football field from both of these quarterbacks, I think is pretty amazing. In reality, Stafford gets the Super Bowl, comes back after a bad year, has a halfway decent season. Jared Goff has just been plugging. He's been getting better every single year since he arrived in Detroit. I tried to tell everybody, watch out, this is actually a good quarterback. Everybody didn't want to listen to Sonny Clark. Okay, but that's fine. A lot of people don't. So that said, what's your take up on the Lions and the Rams with the yes, I got you. And the Rams hitting the road to take on the Lions.
This is the most interesting game of the week. The storylines.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy that Detroit traded comes back with an opportunity to knock them out of the playoffs. Detroit has a chance to not only knock the Rams out, but hey, we don't know how much longer Matthew Stafford's going to play. He's getting a little older.
True.
He's said that we don't know. So this is fascinating. This is wild to say. I think Detroit is the more well-rounded team. In terms of how they play, the identity of how they play, the defense that they play with. It's not great, but it's at home. I think their ability to control this game with the run is the key. And I can't believe it. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions to knock off John Matthew Stafford, spoil his homecoming, and end their season. And I know I'm going to be heading out in a second. So I will also say, much to the Podfather's chagrin, the Eagles get off the schneid, play better, and send the Buccaneers home. They finally wake up, even without A.J. Brown. They finally remember who they are. I just cannot pick against the reigning NFC champions to go out in the first round. If they go out in the first round, this would be a monumental, epic collapse, maybe even worse than Pittsburgh when they went 11-0 to start. It's kind of on the same level.
Bryce, you do know that Jalen Hurts is also hurt as well, right? Because he's not been playing for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. How big? Well, we got the finger, so there's that. Yeah.
There's something with his shoulder too. I think something with his knee. You know what?
So
I hate to say it. I would trust Baker Mayfield with the Bucs because the momentum thing we talked about. He's got a lot of momentum with the Bucs right now, which much like the Rams, the Rams are going into the playoffs with a lot of momentum, which might help them.
I don't know. I think too. Look, the Bucs made it into the playoffs, but 9-0 against the Panthers. Your offense couldn't get it going. I don't know. That sets a bad precedent going into the first playoff game. We'll see if they. We'll see. I mean, I think the Eagle defense plays like its hair is on fire and finally wakes up a little bit. It's a low-scoring game, but the Eagles pull it out.
Gotcha. Okay. And who are you on the Rams game there, Bryce?
I'm going to go with Detroit.
You're going with Detroit. And so who are you going in the Detroit game, Podfather? Did he not hear me?
Because no, you give me the Rams for this game. I heard you fine. Can you hear me?
Okay. You're a little behind, but it's normally me behind. But go ahead.
Yeah, a little behind. Okay. All right. Anyway, give me the Rams to not only win today's game, give me the Rams to be the NFC champion, and they'll be in the Super Bowl against the Bills.
What? Hey, that's interesting. By the way, I'm on the Rams. I'm going to tell you the reason why, and it has nothing to do with football. It has to do with the coach that sent his guy to Detroit. And the story is this. It's really simple. Is that Jared Goff was making comments about his coach's girlfriend, saying that he nailed that and he made it perfectly clear in public. Now, this is just something that you don't do. And that is the reason, by the way, that is the reason why you can find all the excuses in the world. But ultimately, that's the reason why Jared Goff is in Detroit and not in LA. So I'm just telling you. So I think he's going to even get the revenge even more by not only getting him out of LA, he's going to knock him out of the playoffs as well. So I'm not even picking anything out on the football field. I'm going with that right there. I'm going Rams, and so it should be interesting.
That's more of a rumor, urban legend that he actually did that.
I see. Here's what I think. Okay, and I hear what you're saying, Bryce.
He wants to
as far as it being an urban legend, but guess what? When you're talking about men, these are grown men. See, I'm a wimp. Okay, these are grown men, and when you start talking about grown men's mothers and significant others, it changes the whole aspect of look what they did to get rid of him. They wanted him out, and that wasn't because of ownership. Ownership saying, "Why are we getting rid of this motherfucker? He just took us to the goddamn Super Bowl. What are you talking about?" So I'm more apt to believe the urban rumor about that whole situation before that. Cuervo, who do you have in this one?
That doesn't quite work in the NBA, by the way.
Sonny loves to bring up like weird, irrelevant stuff, but that's just Sonny. That's just who he is.
It's irrelevant. You don't think that plays in the mind? You're crazy. That plays in the mind. I believe there's a physical part of it, and then there's mental. And mental. Well, I'm a legend in my own mind. I gave that title to you, but I am a legend in my own mind. I know.
I am the champion now. I don't care.
I'm gonna say it the Pat McAfee way, Podfather. You're the champion. All right, how about that? But listen, how long ago was this supposed comment made, or was it like 3 years ago? Right? If Sean
3 years ago,
if Sean McVay is still holding on to a comment made by Jared Goff about his girlfriend from 3 years ago, I think he needs some counseling. I think he needs to find a way to move on from that comment and just go coach your team. I think
this just puts the icing on the cake for him.
My point is, I don't think that has any factor whatsoever in today's game. But what I do think is a factor is that everybody, and I want you to sit up nice and tall, Bryce, when I say this.
Oh, Bryce.
Everybody's fallen for the hype of the Rams and how they've turned it around. Oh man, they're back to the Super Bowl version of them from 2 years ago. Stop it. Detroit's going to win this game. Because
I know I'm smarter than that son.
Listen, here's how great the Rams have been in the month of December. Okay, yeah, they beat the dog crap out of Cleveland. They lose to Baltimore. Okay, in Baltimore, then they go home and they put a beat down to the Washington Commanders at home and beat them by 8 whole points. Then they follow that up by beating the Saints at home by 8 whole points. And then what do? They go to New York on the road, play the Giants, and they win by 1 whole point. For the grand finale.
That's really no different than what the Eagles are doing all year.
The grand finale is beating the 49ers in Levi Stadium with all second stringers by 1 point. By 1 point. Give me the Lions. I said it from day one, Sonny, if you remember. I think the Lions were going to wind up winning the trade. And in short time, the Rams have, but long term, the Lions are going to be the ones that wind up benefiting from that trade.
You made me just change my pick there, Cuervo. Sometimes it's got to smack you in the face, and and mainly because I don't want him to have to come back and say,
"I told you so. I told you so."
So I think
you
might be right. So I officially I changed my pick. So Bryce,
you know
what's your
pick? You know what? Same here. I changed my pick too.
There we go.
Yeah, Bryce.
Cuervo,
I got to roll
now, but before Bryce says what he says, if he says something in the favor of the Rams, I might switch back. So go ahead, Bryce.
Lions. I'm sticking with the Lions. I think they get off the playoff schneid and they beat the Rams. I'm going to go with the Lions, but I got to head out, guys.
Always good to see Bryce from Brooklyn. By the way, don't go anywhere, Bryce. I got one for Podfather. Look at the screen. Podfather, look at the screen. Look at the screen. Here it is, right there. There it is, right there. It's playing. He does not have that ball. It is moving around. It is not a catch. It wasn't a catch then. It's not even a catch now. So let's just call it like it is. Sorry,
he caught it from there, though. He caught it from there on the ground.
He caught it from there. He caught it from there. He's out of bounds.
Will there be a show tomorrow?
Say again?
Because there's 2 games. Will there be a show tomorrow?
No, I'm not going to do a show tomorrow. I'm going to stay bundled, warm, and everything. So the Philly game, who you got in that one? Just reiterate.
Will there be a show next Saturday?
It might be Friday. I think Cuervo and I are liking the Friday night aspect because Saturdays get kind of busy with families and stuff. Okay. So we did Friday night. We did Friday night this week for it. So look for us at around 9 o'clock your time, PM.
Okay.
Yeah, I might be a little late.
A concert or something, or mingling with all the at least he doesn't name drop everybody out there. So.
I have Lyle Lovett on Friday. Then I have who do I have on Saturday?
Lyle Lovett. Oh my word!
We're gonna be getting choked by the top rope from the podcast.
Bryce from Brooklyn, always good to see you, my friend.
Maybe you know what? If Sonny would play my damn video, that'd be great.
Well, I don't have it downloaded, so he was I'll show it to everybody next week. I'm sorry, I tell you, man, I'm the hardest working man in sports radio. I've been busy, so there you go.
Whatever, all right, you didn't work that hard.
All right, Bryce.
Bryce is out of here, so that takes us then to the Philly game. We didn't talk about that. I wanted to get it before he gets, unless you talked about it when I was gone. Tampa Bay and Philly. I find this one just intriguing. In reality, I don't know if I want to believe what's going on in Tampa Bay. If they're really, are they a good team? Are they not? Is Baker Mayfield good? Are they going to keep Baker next year? There's so many swirling around Baker, in Tampa Bay. But the biggest thing is, guess what? Okay, he took another team back to the playoffs. He took a team that was not, even close to being there, and he took them to the playoffs. He's doing the same thing here in Tampa Bay. Now, granted, coming off of, a Tom Brady Super Bowl and then a down, a lull year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. But yet again, here we are talking about what he did, which is take a team to the playoffs. So, Cuervo, I don't know if that has any credence on what you're thinking about when you take a look at this game. I think the Eagles, there is something wrong. Have you ever had a feeling that you felt good, but just not good enough? There's something just holding you back, whether it's a day or a week or whatever. I think Jalen Hurts has this bug. And the bug hasn't gone away, and we're just not seeing the same Jalen Hurts that we saw last year as we're seeing this year. So, Cuervo, look at this game. What's your take up on the Eagles Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think all the focus really right now is how much the Eagles have fallen apart.
Yeah,
and we can say whether it's injury or maybe there's something we don't know that's going on in Philly that is happening, behind closed doors, whether it's personnel or a player, a coach, like something is really disrupting that locker room. And there's no telling what it could be. It could just be injuries. It could be, but there could also be something going on. And a lot of times when you see teams just kind of fall apart like the way the Eagles have, there's something beyond injuries going on. And I don't know what it is. I know there's a lot of rumors of Nick Sirianni getting fired if they lose this game. I think that's a little, quick on the trigger because they were just in the Super Bowl this, last year. So to give up on a guy that fast, I think it'd be a mistake by the Eagles if they did that. But as for now on the Tampa Bay side, look, I mean, there wasn't much expectation this year, guys, right? Because you had Tom Brady retire, and Todd Bowles has taken over. And it's his second year now as a head coach, and his track record isn't that great. I mean, he tried to do the thing with the Jets. Didn't work out too well. Now he's in Tampa being a head coach again, and people are still kind of, they're just not sure about him. So, but what I think where I think Tampa went right though is getting a guy like a Baker Mayfield who has proven to turn things around for teams. I mean, say what you want, the Cleveland Browns were not a playoff team until he arrived, and they got that running game going. So now in his first year with Tampa Bay, nobody. I mean, I don't think any of us picked them to win the division, let alone even, probably finish last. I think most of us had Tampa finishing either last or second to last in this division. So
second last, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all knew Carolina was going to be garbage, but Tampa Bay wasn't going to be far behind. And what do? They win the division. So,
yep.
I think they exceeded the expectations as far as regular season, but, I just think that we cannot overlook who the Philadelphia Eagles are. They're still the NFC champs. They were in the Super Bowl last year. I know it got ugly at the end of the year for them. They went 1-5 in their last 6 games. That's terrible.
Right.
So
horrible.
But you know what? Does any of that matter anymore, guys? Because now we're in the playoffs. None of that stuff matters record-wise anymore. Yeah, momentum is a thing, and I think that's what could hurt the Eagles is the fact that they have no momentum going into this game. But I think
lost 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row.
Yeah. I mean, 2 games in a row. They lost to Arizona and they lost
and they played their starters.
Yeah, so you can't say they benched anybody. They didn't bench anyone. Look, AJ Brown being out is huge for them. But I think they do have enough to still move the ball and score some points and all that. It's just going to be, can they remember to at least try to run the ball? At least try. Don't be the Cleveland Browns yesterday. At least try to run the ball and stop their run game, because Rachaad White has really stepped up for them, for Tampa Bay. He's really helped balance that offense out instead of just, we're going to try to air it to Mike Evans every time or try to get it to Godwin every time. Like, Rachaad White has really helped bring balance to that Buccaneer offense, and I think that's really helped him out. So, this is going to be, not to completely give away my picks, but I'll tell you, confidence points wise, I put the lowest point setting for this game because I just don't know which way it's going to go. I have no idea.
I did too. I don't feel comfortable whatsoever for this game at all. That's why you're right. This is the lowest confident point as far as what we're doing, doing that with the confidence points. I don't feel comfortable at all about where they're at. So, but that being said, I think missing AJ Brown is the biggest story in reality. I just, I think without having a guy with that much talent out on the football field for your team going into this game, I think that really hurts you not having the main guys out there. So, but that part being said, Podfather, when you look at this game, you see the personnel, you see what's going on. Do you believe in the hype of Baker Mayfield being able to get over this Philadelphia Eagle team that we're seeing in the last 6 weeks? Remember, this team was 9-2 at the beginning of the season, and then they've just fell to where they are now. What do you think of the chances of them not, the chances of them winning this game?
Well, there's one thing y'all haven't talked about, and I think it's really, really important. I think every team goes through it when they have the kind of lull the Eagles have had. It's the give-up factor. They have, when they realized they weren't going to get home field advantage, which would have changed my pick completely on this game had they been playing the vet, or not at the link. But because they're going to be in Tampa Bay, and yes, Tampa Bay barely squeaked out a win with the Carolina Panthers, which I don't remember if they were playing anybody of any value in that game at all. It was just kind of a preseason game. I've been saying this for the last 4 weeks. Something's wrong with ever since the Cowboys put an ass whooping on them.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts. There's something really, really wrong with him. And that's your playmaker. That's your guy. He's the one that makes things happen with his legs, makes things happen with his hand, with his throws, and you injure your finger on your throwing hand. Hey, if you remember correctly, that put Dak Prescott out for like 3 or 4 weeks last year at the beginning of the season. And he's still playing with it. And it's not getting any better. So I really do think that the Eagles have hit that give-up factor to where we're not as good as we thought we were. We played good. Once again, a lot of their wins, you go back to them, they're not even 7-point wins. Some won by 3, some won by 4, some won by 5. I mean, they were close games. They're against teams like the Commanders, teams like the Giants, until the Giants whooped their ass last week. I mean, it was a lot like that all year long. So it wasn't like they were being the most dominant team in the NFC, not at all. Even the Niners can't say that. But because they did what they did in the West, they took care of business. Eagles didn't take care of business, and they had everything. They had every opportunity in the world to do that. Hell, the last 3 games of the year, you had the Giants, you had the Cardinals, and you got the Giants again, and you went 1-3 out of that. So that's on them, and because of what's going on with them, psychologically, physically, health-wise, whatever you want to put it. And I don't think this should be fireable to the head coach. I think it's just a matter of just shit happened at the wrong time and for him, really. I think the Bucs go away with the win here. Home field advantage will play a big factor in this game. Playing Tampa Bay is far different from playing in Philadelphia. And I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to do enough to get by. It'll be a close game. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a close game. But they won't do enough to get by, and they'll be one and done for them.
Think about this part when you're looking at the game. The Philadelphia Eagles, their scoring defense points allowed, they're 30th in the NFL, giving up 25 points a game. And then you have the Buccaneers only scoring 20 during the regular season, which means they're going to get 5 more. What are the Eagles going to do? I mean, because guess what? The Eagles score 25 points a game. So if they allow the 25, this is going to be a close game. And if you're on the, I'm not sure what the over and under is, but if it's 50, you might get 51, 52 in this one there, Cuervo. I think, when you're looking at the numbers and how they're playing out and looking at this defense, the defense sometimes shows, sometimes doesn't. And that's the reason why you're seeing those numbers being as high as they are in certain instances for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I will say this. I think as far as the Eagles are concerned, I think this obviously, quote unquote, must win is not, what you say during this time of the year. But I think this is a must win for the organization moving forward. So they can look at it. They can look at adversity right now and still be able to go out and win. That's what good football teams do, right, Cuervo? They got the adversity, and then they go find a way to win the game. The Eagles have not been able to do that for the last 6 weeks of the season. So this is the time. If they're going to do it, they better put up or shut up, or people are going to be down on the Eagles, not just the rest for this year, but that's going to float over into next year. And what are they going to do about it personnel-wise? Is it going to be something that there are going to be some major changes for the Eagles before they go into the next season? So I look at that route. What do you think?
Well, I think that I want to touch on a comment that you made about dealing with the adversity, trying to steer the ship, so to speak. Yes. As a head coach, you're the captain, right? You're the captain of the ship as a head coach, and when it starts to get a little wobbly, can you right that ship? And and by the way, that's another reason why Matt Eberflus is staying in Chicago, because the GM felt that he was able to do that in the second half of the year. And I don't want to hear about, well, they beat up on Atlanta, they beat up on Arizona. Well, guess what? Philadelphia lost to them. So what does that say, right? But
absolutely,
going back to Philly, though, yeah, I think Nick Sirianni's done a terrible job of trying to get them back on track. But you know what? I think that this is another example of how important an OC and a DC are, because last year the Eagles had Shane Steichen as their OC, who's now in Indianapolis, and they had Gannon, who's in Arizona now. And why I didn't put those two together, how Arizona was able to beat Philadelphia. That guy knows that offense in Philadelphia. So, of course, he knows how to game plan for the offense and how to attack them. So, but, moving on to today's game, I think that, I think it's time that hit the reset button. I think Sirianni will find a way to do that. Again, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the Eagles, but I think just because of their experience, they will find a way to gut out a 3-point win, 2-point win, whatever. They will find a way. And this is going to be probably the ugliest game of the weekend, in my opinion. So
I fully agree.
Yeah. And so with that said, my official pick, I did have Tampa originally, but I'm switching to Philly, which means Tampa's probably going to win.
This one's tough. When I'm looking at it, I'm back and forth too. What team is going to show up today for Philly? Is it going to be the one who is 9-2, or is it going to be the one that we recently seen? It's all about momentum, gentlemen. And that momentum is not necessarily on that side. What?
By the way, Sonny, the over/under is 43 in this game.
Really? If there's no weather conditions, I might be a little bit on the over on that one. So
they're in Tampa, Florida, so I think they're good on weather.
Yeah, I think they might be okay as long as there's not a typhoon flowing through there or a hurricane. So yeah, it just might rain. Yeah, it always has a chance for rain. All right, so Podfather, look at this game. Who are you actually taking?
I already told you I was taking.
I want you to tell me again.
Podfather, who you got?
Okay, is everybody listening? I know there's a delay here.
Yes.
Apparently with Sonny, it's like a 20. It was Sonny, it's a 20-minute. It's a 20-minute delay because I told you who it was going to be. Yeah, I'm picking the Bucks.
I know who you're picking. There you go.
Picking the Bucks. All right, and I'm on the Bucks too. Yes, we are on like a pretty good delay there, Podfather. But Podfather wanted me to put this out there too. So there, I went ahead and did that. So I don't know, but I'm still on that one right there. But it is what it is.
The ball's still in the air, sir.
Grated cheese.
The ball's still in the air.
No, that's he didn't hold on to the ball after he completed the catch. That's what that is. That's why it was incomplete. Anyway,
but he caught the ball when the ball fell back in his hands.
In the day when that happened, they had to control the ball through to the ground.
Never hit the ground. The ball never hit the ground.
Yeah. After he was completing the catch, he lost control over the ball. That's why it wasn't a catch, and that's why it wasn't, as far as what it is. And that was the rule, right, Cuervo? Hey, Cuervo, that was the rule back then. You had to control the ball to the ground. We've seen that with Calvin Johnson a couple of times. That happened on 2 touchdowns. One was a really big one. This one was a big one too, but it was the right call. You cannot tell me differently based upon the rules that were there. Now, on today's rules, they might be able to get away with that, but it wasn't a catch back then either. And never mind the fact that it is Des Bryant. I can't stand him. It just couldn't happen to a better person.
There you go.
I got a double whammy up on that. I'm right, and it happened to Des Bryant, so it really worked.
Okay. Because you asked me a question. That is still the rule. You have to complete the process of the catch. Now, that being said, all right, name of our show. Podfather, he froze that frame right there to fit what he wanted you to see. What he didn't show you was the part when Dez repossesses the ball and rolls over into the end zone. Did I remember that right?
Yeah, he's still on the ground. The ball never hit the ground.
Out of bounds when he did that. He was out of bounds. Listen, I know this play. I've watched the play 1,000 times because it was Des Bryant. He was out of bounds when he gained control of the ball. All right, give me a second. Give me a second, you bum. I have it right there.
He is still in the field of play. He
doesn't have control. Listen, this is what you don't know, Mr. Trey Mack. he was sliding at that time, and when he regained control of the ball, he was out of bounds. I've watched the play inside out, upside down, 500 times away.
No. First of all, he caught the ball at the 1. He slid into the end zone, and then the ball popped up. Then he caught it back down while in the end zone. Watch the play. Don't just show me a picture.
I've watched it 1,000 times, so I can say what I said. I've watched it 1,000 times. He did not have control of the ball. He lost control, and when he gained control, he was out of bounds. I've watched it 1,000 times. Hey, I think you're caught up with us too, by the way. So good to say hey right now.
Hey.
Yeah, all right. So it's about 5 seconds. It was like 12. It seemed like it was like 12 seconds. So good to see you caught up. So that being said, of course, it's at the end of the show. Of course, that's where it's at. We got them all covered. So we like the confidence points. We'll do those next year in the playoffs, not during the year. It's just pick them through the regular season as far as that's concerned. So I like that. Even though I suck at it, and I even said, I told my brother, I said, we're going to do this, and I am going to end up last. So I have really no expectations. So I'm happy I got one with a high number. So we did pretty good. By the way, Cuervo, you need to get a hold of Jeremy Miracle and tell him to do the confidence points. I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Yeah, because he went 2-0, but he didn't have any confidence points picked, so he's at the bottom because he has 0 points. So tell him to get those confidence points in there. So, well, that's going to do it. You got to bail anyway. You got some things to do before the football game. I'm actually going to go do a chore before the football game since there's no game now. So I'm going to do a chore before the.
I got to go to Walmart.
Good luck with that, especially it's 13 degrees out. Oh man. I hope you don't need water. There won't be any up there. You know that. So hopefully you don't need any.
We got Lake Mario. We're fine.
Yeah.
We go. Hey, Podfather. I want to see him explain that frame. See that frame? You see it? What's Des got in his hands right there?
Yeah,
that's a ball, and that's in the field of play.
And he's in the field of play. Explain that one. You see that?
No catch. You need the other angle where that picture doesn't look as close as he is to the sideline. He's actually out of bounds. It's not fully controlled at that point. It's the one thing to have the hands. He's sliding. You see he's sliding, right? You see he's sliding, right?
You got nothing. The catch, bro.
That looks like possession to me, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm not a Des Bryant person either. I understand Sonny's hatred for that. I get that. But at the end of the day,
I don't think so, Tim.
The play itself, on 4th down to get to where it was at right there, and for even nowadays, the league is saying that would have been a catch. It took them how many years from sitting and go, it's a catch.
Yeah, so after they decided to change the rules, and they said that rule should have been in play back then, but it wasn't.
So you can be the narcissist you want to be. You can be the know-it-all, brag-it-all. You ain't the champion, so I don't want to hear it. By the way, you can bow to me. Go ahead.
Bow to him. Lord, have mercy.
Anyway,
have mercy.
So, boys, I'm out of here. Y'all have fun. Cuervo, it's always a pleasure. Sonny, go after yourself.
Enjoy Lyle. Love it. I mean, is he still? At one point they nominated him as the ugliest country singer ever. I think I read, and I'm not saying that. I don't necessarily have a thing, but is he still as ugly? I guess.
I'm sure him and Howard Stern can have an ugly contest. See which one wins. So it's all fine.
Get out of here. Good to see you, Podfather, as usual. What you got? Wait.
Hey, rolled over a little bit more, and he still got the ball.
Yeah.
God, look at that. That's a catch.
Just saying.
That's a catch, Sonny. My God, he's going to fill the play. He's got both hands on the ball. That's a catch.
Incomplete. Yeah, there you go. He won't give you the chair shot this week, but maybe next week. You never know.
I never give Cuervo the chair shot, sir. Yeah. I have a chair shot waiting. I have a chair shot waiting.
Yeah, maybe the Green Bay Packers, maybe the Green Bay Packers made them up. I don't know. Oh, it's Luke.
Sonny, Sonny, I have one chair shot. I'm gearing up, going to shine up really nice. That big ball head of yours.
Yes,
I wide
know.
Open. You pouring the
that's why I didn't go Saturday. That's why I didn't go last Saturday, because I knew you'd have a chair shot ready for me. That's why I didn't go.
When I heard that Mr. Wobble was taking on my guy, I waited for so long for that opportunity to get my hands on that wobble looking motherfucker. And I took every opportunity I could to choke the living hell out of that man. And to take him and make him wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. It was so great. Oh my goodness.
Gabe XL should be the champion. I'm telling you right now, even though I don't like the way it happened, he should be the champion. That's
not my problem. You know what? Not my problem. Not my business. All I know is that we got the Texas Heavyweight Championship coming up here soon.
Yeah,
my boy
another
Branch is going to be a part of it.
Why don't we get 5 more championships and just put them in there?
Well, you know what? You become a promoter and you have your own promotion. We'll see how you do. Look,
I'm
telling you right now. Listen, this is a chance for my boy Branch to branch out, as it were, and to take on former network opponent Chris Irvin, his former tag team partner in the last show, by the way, who did a decent job.
Yes,
but we're gonna take him. We're gonna take every bit of those dreadlocks out of his hair. We're gonna tie it up to the ropes. Take the nephew of Michael Irvin, the actor,
the nephew of Michael
Irvin, and choke the living hell out of him too. Then go
with
to the next round, and when we take on possibly Gabe XL, then I get my hands on Nate the Great, and I get to choke the living life out of him too. And then we go on to the next round with probably Anthony Price, and then we choke the life out of Nate Vaughn, and we choke the life out of.
Get out of here! Get the hell!
I cannot wait.
Get the hell out of here! Oh wait, he did it just as I was getting rid of him anyway. Hi, Cuervo.
Hello there, sir.
Well, that's going to do it for us today. I know you got some things to do, and thank you for the little bit of the extra time, of course, as usual.
Stayed on for the full 3, even though I told you I would only be on for 2.
That's what you said. That's what. So I'm glad I was there, and thank your wife for giving you an opportunity to do your chores a little late. I appreciate it. Since there's no game, I guess that helps. So there you go.
Exactly.
All right, my man.
Before they start.
Yeah. Yep. Try to get it all done so you're ready to go. So that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Catch us next. We're probably going to do Friday night, right? Did that work out well for you?
So about that. We can actually start a little earlier if need be on Friday.
Okay.
Just because, I'll get off work, earlier in the day. That it was my week to work the closing night shift last week.
Okay.
So now that I'm not on the closing night shift, I'll be home probably as early as 5:00 your time on Friday.
Okay. Well, let me see about that, because I got a little schedule thing going on, so I'll let you know about that during the week, and we'll hit into that as far as that's concerned. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So that's going to do it for us on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Enjoy the remaining games here. 4 games that are ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll catch you next Friday. We'll let you know what time that'll be here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. And that being said, we're out of here, everybody. Bye-bye.